What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Down Unders, the show you get all your footy content and also tips and bets for the weekend with my man, Brody, my brother. Both our teams with big wins over the weekend.
Hey.
Obviously, we're trying to get back into that 8 discussion, and you guys looking like top 4 discussion, brother. How you feeling after the weekend?
Bro, winners are grinners, man. There's nothing better than a win, especially when it's against the Broncos at BRISBANE, brother. So it's the first time in a while we've won at Suncorp, so I'm pretty happy about it, to be honest. I'm actually spewing we didn't go, but you know what? I'm glad I didn't. I probably would have been the jinx. So yeah, I'm happy with the dub.
Nah, bro, yeah, it was definitely one of those games that I was like, you know, we were messaging back and forth in a little group chat there and just like, we should have gone, bro. The energy there looked electric. I was seeing all the videos after the game, Caxton Street, full of Doggies fans going absolutely mental, bro. I'm sure we would have been going crazy out there.
Did you see the video of the Doggies supporter with the full collar and shit on, bro? Fuck, that was almost embarrassing, eh? I was like, oh, fuck, I'm not a Doggies fan.
Who Let the Dogs Out? I was expecting you to play some Who Let the Dogs Out or something coming on before the show, but copyright reasons, probably not.
No, I think when we beat the Wars.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Turn it up. No, I think it's actually, it's probably been a couple of weeks now that both our teams have come on, like, you know, since we've been doing Down Unders, that we both had a good win. Obviously, we played each other, I think, week 3 of doing this together. So,
yeah.
But also, yeah, just great vibes from the weekend and stuff. But from the weekend of footy, bro, any massive talking points you really want to get into? Like, obviously, the Dolphins, the big one I want to talk about over the weekend, obviously adding to a little bit of a slide to the end of their season, bro. Your thoughts on the Dolphins, obviously going down to the Gold Coast Titans that seem to just be putting teams away a little bit more so towards the end of this year than what they had to start this year. Your thoughts on the Dolphins?
I think we touched on it when we did the, you know, so far review on the season, like the halfway point, on the fact that they had a pretty easy run at the start of the season. And I guess we're just starting to see that tougher run now, even though, you know, the Titans aren't. Get the fuck out. So,
you man trying to crash the party.
Oh, he's just fucking up the carpet. But no, like, you know, the Titans aren't a top team or anything, but, you know, still had enough to upset the Dolphins. So, you know, I think the Dolphins are struggling with that harder run. With that said as well, I think they're struggling without Jeremy Marshall-King. Not in the sense, you know, Max Plath isn't doing a good job at hooker, because he is, but I think it's more so the fact that they're missing Max Plath at lock to do all that tidy up work that he was doing at lock, and, you know, Jeremy Marshall-King in the 9. And that's what we're touching on just before. So it just runs out of that option, you know, that they're down one of their key men, you know, and like Pangai Jr. has been pretty good, pretty solid since he's been with the Dolphins. But I still think, you know, just the minutes that, you know, Plath and Marshall-King produced together opened up so much defensive room for them to be a lot more sound in the middle there. So
yeah, 100%, bro. It's just one of those points of the season, you know, the Dolphins have had all their buys. You look at the ladder. Everyone's been looking at the ladder these days and going like, you know, these teams looking where they should be. And it's like the buy points really are deceptive when you look at the ladder. Like, you know, the Rabbitohs, if they got, you know, the win over the weekend, they would have looked above us, you know, in that period there, even though they've had all their buy points. We're still yet to play out one more buy. I think did the Doggies have one more buy towards the end of the season?
No,
we're done. It all out?
We're done.
We're done. Yeah, so you guys are as high as what you really can be. So the more wins come up, that's really where you should be at. So it's really one of those ones. And the Dolphins have, like, you know, throughout majority of the season had majority of their buys to like the early to mid part of the season. So the high on the ladder obviously gives away that illusion that they've been playing great football, but not towards like the top 4 standard, which where they were actually sitting that mid part of this year. Everyone was like, ooh, top 4 team. But still, like, there's a lot of good signs to that side. Obviously building, from their first year last year. This is their second year now. Still got a lot to go to become like a viable, like complete top 8 side again and again and again. They're still there at the moment, but do you think there's an opportunity for one more side to really slide into the 8? Are they the side that slides out of the 8 in your opinion at the moment? What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think potentially the Dolphins, and keep an eye on the Sharks. I think they're 2 teams that potentially might slide out of the 8 if they're not careful with the run they've got home. So I'm not too sure of the Sharks run home. I haven't really touched on it. I know that they had a bit of an easier run at the start of the season as well, so they're going to be having a bit of a tougher run in the back end. But as for the Dolphins, it's always going to happen to them, especially when they play Origin, hammers in Origin, and then they do have a couple of injuries. They don't have a lot of depth at this stage, but that will come. Only second year into the comp, so I definitely think that they potentially might slide out if the Whales come home strong, or the Cowboys keep going. The Broncos pretty much gone now, so I think the other one to watch is Cronulla. I reckon they might potentially slide.
Yeah, I have a little bit of feeling that as well. And we may as well go through that, obviously, over the weekend. Cronulla obviously going down to the Cowboys over the weekend, 30-22. Very up and down game for like a majority of this game overall. I thought, the Cowboys obviously put them out to a decent lead there with a 3 tries to 2 at one point. And then obviously Braden Trindle brought it back, and it was kind of back and forth for a little period there. I thought, Tommy Dearden was incredible. Jeremiah Nenai, they seem to be a side that seemed to be clicking into favor, and the Sharkies seem to be a side that just can't get over this like inconsistent hump that they just continue to have in their side. Like, your thoughts overall, first of all, on the Cowboys, what's their opportunities like maybe for a top 4 finish? And then we'll talk a little bit more about the Sharkies and how they sort of looking right now.
You think the Cowboys for top 4?
Maybe. I really do. They have a solid run. They don't leave. Yeah, it's like they have a solid run, bro, because due to like they don't leave Queensland. I think they only leave Queensland once, I think, for their run home. They got the Titans. They got the Tigers this weekend at Leichhardt is one of the only games from memory that they don't leave Queensland. So your thoughts on that? Do you reckon they have an opportunity for top 4 there? Obviously, I feel like they're in the race with you guys and probably Manly, but Manly seem to be a bit up and down at the moment.
I think it's either one or the other. They're either going to potentially make the 4 or drop it out of the 8 still, in my opinion. The Cowboys are still too hit and miss for my liking. That game on the weekend was up for grabs out of anybody out of the Sharks and Cowboys. And, they'll probably come out and lose this weekend to the Tigers. It's just how the Cowboys are. They're up, down. They don't know how to close out games, which is weird because they've got so much strike power across the park. They got 6-7 Origin players. Townsend, who's experienced, very veteran in the grand finals and shit like that as well. So I don't understand where they lack, but they just do. I don't know if they can't play out of Townsville or what the go is, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I reckon the Tigers have got a good chance of beating them though. The Cowboys have been on a bit of a high the last 2 weeks, so they're due a slide. So it'll be see. I reckon they'll finish outside of the top 4 though. I reckon they might scrape into the 8.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe it's just like the Cowboys are just one of those sides, bro. When you look at it on paper, you see the talent they have in their side. You're just waiting for them to put it together and become a side that everyone knows that they can be. It's just like, I agree with you. They've been fairly up and down for a majority of the season. It's just see the attacking ability. And when they get their defense in order, which over the weekend wasn't the best, obviously 22 points for the Sharkies. But preview to that, they looked like they were starting to get their defensive systems down pack a little bit. They were trying to like grind out football games a little bit better there. And when their attack starts humming, they're going to be a hard side sort of stop there. So they're just one of those sides, where you just like, you don't know on the team to top to bottom, they've got the ability, but you're 100% right to think it the way it is, because you've seen for a majority of the season, they've been up and down week by week. You know what I mean? They've had big games against the Dragons, 46-22, and they get smoked by the Broncos, 38-12, and then be up again. You know what I mean? They're just up and down this year.
Well, that just sums them up. Is they're a team that's got to score 30 points to be winning. You know what I mean? They don't really. They beat us pretty close game. And I think that was probably the best thing for them is they needed a grind win. That gives you so much more confidence than flogging a team 50-0. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Winning by 2 in a really tough, tooth nail game. It's much more better for your confidence to get that grindy win. You know what I mean? So, and the Cowboys don't do that. They got to score 30 points. If you're a Cowboys fan, you wouldn't be cheering. They've done it so many times this year where they blow out to 20-0 and then lose the game. It's happened too many times. So, yeah, they're just one of those teams that they've got to score 20 points, 30 points to win, because the other team's guaranteed to about get 20 points on them. It's just how it goes. So defense hasn't been all there compared to like what we've seen them in a previous season when Todd Payton first went there. They looked like a different beast. They were very grindy. They played 80 minutes. Now it's just like, I don't know. They just show up when they feel like showing up. So.
Yeah, the whole thing really doesn't make sense. As we just touched on before, teamless on paper look great, attacking ability look great. Todd Payton, when he first came in as their squad, hard-nosed coach, got defensive systems in place pretty early on. They were one of the best defensive teams in that competition, made a top 4 finish in that first year. You're right, like they just for some reason have found themselves in a spot where they fell in love with attacking football and probably gone a little bit inconsistent that way. But talking about attacking football, we'll talk about probably one of the most important games before we start going teamless, and then obviously the news over the weekend. The doggies, bro. The doggies. And I know we were talking about this before, and you're worried about your attacking side of things. Your defensive side of things is incredible. Like we've known this throughout this majority of the season with the doggies, throughout this whole season with the dogs. Your attacking systems are unreal this year. Your fitness is unreal. You're just waiting for that little like cream on top, hey, the little cherry on top sort of thing. I know it's only 1 week. You want to see it consistently, but 41 points against the Broncos is no slouch of an effort, especially at Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, definitely. I heard a lot of talk that they did do a lot of work on their attack. I think they identified it just as quick as I did that, there's a bit of a lull there. And they made some changes, shifting out of their end, using their strike power early, not just waiting for good ball sets, which don't come around too often for the doggies because, we do struggle to make the meters upfield unless we get a piggyback with that smaller pack. So, why not have that shift in your end? We're lucky enough to have every pass almost go to chests. In other games, there's probably a lot more errors than that, and we don't score as many points, or we do concede more field position due to a couple of drop balls. But everything went right on the weekend. The shifts looked great. And there was some outstanding performances there. Our back five were absolutely incredible on the weekend. There wasn't even that dominant of performances from the halves. It was more so, the back five and just a team collective effort there. You look at the halves stats and you think that they'll have try assist galore. They really don't. So it was definitely really a shared possession there. And our back five, outstanding. They could have been make or break with the early shifts. Like I said, dropping the ball, giving up field position, but on point every time they went wide, and we looked like scoring every time we went wide to Bronson Cherry. And then Carraz on the other side was just outstanding. Put that man anywhere. Put him in a Blues jersey, I'm telling you.
You take Lebanon over the Blues, but was it overall, as like we were touching on, there was a period where I thought the doggies attack was growing. Like I think it was after that Raiders game, or even with that Raiders game, I started to notice that Birdo was starting to play both sides of the ruck. But then it felt like there was a little bit of a lull in your attack. It started to feel like that you weren't getting above that, 2-try sort of game. A lot of that did come off kicks. Like thinking back to our game, you got a try off an intercept and a try off a kick. And it wasn't really coming from attacking shape. And it felt like also, you're right. Like you did lose that little bit of like attacking out of your back end as well. Like you had that in spades at times with Addo-Carr too on the outside. And we'll touch on him coming back into the lineup because it sucks to see one of these young blokes fall out of the lineup. But I also do see a little bit of a plus there having the speed of Addo-Carr back on that edge as well. Like the damaging speed of having Gitgow there, who's quick for an edge back rower, big Fijian body, moves very well. You got, Bronson Cherry. We know the speed that guy possesses for a center, of a big body center that he is. And then finishing that with Addo-Carr, that usually takes like little opportunities and makes them into point scoring opportunities, especially from like, open fields, like full field sort of efforts. I think that could add maybe another little added piece. Not saying that, Blake Wilson wasn't hasn't got the speed or the finishing ability from the back end to finish those things. But just saying that the little added difference of Adokar is that, you know, that little bit of toe, that extra little bit of speed that'll get him across the point. Like sort of like AKP with the Titans. You know, AKP probably doesn't do majority of a lot of rest around his game other than the speed and his finishing ability. And sometimes that breaks games open. So we'll talk a little bit more about Adokar a little bit later on. But another guy I want to touch on with you, bro, Connor Tracy, like his performances, obviously, you know, we spoke about him earlier this season. It was Blake Taff for him. Me and you basically agreed we wanted Connor Tracy there or someone else there other than Blake Taff. Like, love Blake, but we just don't think he's a first grader just yet. But Connor Tracy, bro, incredible in this game. What, like 3 tries, just ran ragged on the Broncos against, you know, a Reece Walsh led Broncos side. You know, he definitely beat the battle against Reece Walsh at Suncorp Stadium. What's your thoughts on Connor Tracy, bro?
Bro, you can tell that, you know, Serraldo's really trying to hum him into a Dylan Edwards type performance. Like, that was pretty outstanding from Connor Tracy, what he did on the weekend. You know, he scored his tries all off basically support play. He still racked up the meters. You know, it was really Dylan Edwards type performance. So you can really tell that Serraldo had a hand in the making of Dylan Edwards. And he's really trying to, you know, copy and paste that with Connor Tracy, which he's always had that part of his game. But believe it or not, Connor Tracy started as a half. Kills it in the wings, center position at the Sharks. So, he played outstanding. And, you know, Blake Taff is good. Is a good rugby league player, but I definitely think Connor Tracy in our team adds so much more. You know, he's a stronger body. He eats the meters up, and he's just always there in support. It's not just all about speed; it's about hard work that he puts in. So, and it really shows.
Yeah, he plays way more direct. Now, I think it just opens up so many different opportunities out your back end as well when you got a direct fullback that plays out back like that. But yo, that pretty much will run through our team of the week too, my brother, this week here. You know, obviously off the back of the doggies having an amazing game. You want to run through your team of the week, bro? Go 1 to 13. I'll give you my 1 to 13. How do you feel? Who's your team of the week this week?
Yeah, sweet, bro. So, yeah, at the back, man, is Connor Tracy. You know, he had 3 tries, 185 meters, sorry, one line break assist, 3 try assists, and 7 tackle bust. So absolutely outstanding. Will Warbrick on one of the wings, 1 try, 304 meters, 4 line breaks, 5 tackle breaks. So, man, outstanding. Incredible. Honestly, every tackle break basically landed a line break for him. And then in the centers, it's my doggies duo. So Bronson Cherry and Jacob Perez. So
love that.
Cherry, bro, racked up 167 meters, 2 line break assist, and a try. Carraz 197, 2 line breaks, 3 line break assists, 1 try assist, 6 tackle bust, 1 try. And then on my other wing, I'm getting sick of mentioning this guy, but fucking Kyle Felt, man, 3 tries, 163 meters, and 4 line breaks. Bro, like I looked at, you know, Jarrell Skelton, who deserved that spot as well, but fuck Kyle Felt, man, it's hard to knock you, mate. And you know, he scored some tough tries on the weekend, man. Some really tough finishes. Oh, crazy. Anyway,
I was flipping too, bro. I was flipping too, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many honorable mentions I've got this week as well. Mainly the back rowers. That was really fucking hard for me to pick. But we'll get there. So in my halves, I've got Jaden Campbell. He had 3 try assists, 3 line break assists for 5'8". Number 7, say less. It's Nathan fucking Cleary. The stat sheet is outstanding for him. It's 3 tries, 26 points overall, 242 meters run for a half. He had like 36 runs. That's insane.
Bro, freak.
1
Killed my
line break
team too. Unreal.
Yeah. 1 line break assist, 2 try assist, 5 tackle bust, and 2 forced line dropouts. That's outstanding. In my front row, I've got AFB and Mo Fodawaker. So AFB racked up a try, 222 meters, 1 line break, 5 tackle breaks, 21 tackles. And Mo Fodawaker, man, Mo Fodawaker, bro, killed it for the Titans. 197 meters and 37 tackles. That's outstanding.
Freak.
He was really the pivotal front in that game. He really dominated the Dolphins back. At hooker, I got Appy Coruscant, forever trying hard, man, in the in a losing team. So he had 1 try, 1 line break, 1 line break assists, 1 try assist, 5 tackle breaks, and 32 tackles. So it's pretty standard for Appy, man. I reckon he's going to get a lot of benefit when Jerome comes next year. My back rows, man, so hard. So my honorable mentions for my back rows were Hudson Young, Jacob Preston, Scott Sorensen, Liam Martin, Kurt Catewell. Yeah, and that's my back row honorable mentions. But my back rows of the week was Ali Katoa, 2 try assists, man, 1 line break assist, 1 line break, and 32 tackles. Like, that's outstanding. He's playing like another strike option there for Melbourne. Like, he's got such a big role to play in with that spine, you know, like, yeah, what he's doing for Ryan Pappenhausen's game is outstanding. And the amount of efforts and defense he helps out Jerome Hughes with just freshens him up to attack all day. It's crazy. And then Jeremiah Nanai was my other back rower, you know, 1 try assist, 1 line break, 1 line break assist, 29 tackles, 127 meters. And then for my lock position, my honorable mentions were Isaiah Yeo and Trent Laurentini. Sorry, Laurentini Liero. He had 44 tackles and 0 missed in 55 minutes of gameplay. I think Isaiah Yeo had 44 tackles in 80 minutes and 100 and something meters. But yeah, Liero, man, he's really showing that Queensland picked him for a reason into that camp. But with that said, my lock of the week was Dylan Walker. He was outstanding for you guys. I thought he had 1 try assist, 1 line break assist, 35 tackles and 163 meters. So that's my team of the week and the stats to back it up. But yeah, there's so many good guys on the weekend, like Hudson Young, man, he killed it. Josh Curran up front for us absolutely killed it. You know, he's wearing that prop jersey with pride. And then, yeah, you know, Skelton and Wilson also probably deserve those wing spots as well for their own reasons, but can only pick so many. And Kurt Mann at lock, man, he absolutely terrorized the Broncos forward pack with his footwork. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, both of your boys there, you got the rotation there, Hayward and Kurt Mann, is great, bro. Like, I love that the look that the doggies have at the moment with those smaller sort of, you know, locks that are doing a lot of work from the middle. But, you know, Kurt Mann plays like a big man in the middle sometimes too, bro. Like, plays well above his size. But, you know, his foot speed for the middle is also amazing. But very similar players, bro. I've got a couple of different ones. So, really, like, a lot of them have been picked out by your honorable mentions anyway. So it feels like we are on the same track at least. Connor Tracy's got a bit of fullback of the week, I reckon. There's obviously honorable mentions to Teddy and stuff like that having incredible games. But Connor Tracy, what he did against the Broncos, what he did against the Broncos at Suncorp, like, incredible. I picked Jarrell Skelton. I was just like, I got to give it Jarrell, like, 300 meters in that game. Incredible game. Just stopped. Like, it was big body, really tough to handle on the edge. My other one was Will Wilbrick. I couldn't go away from him. Cole Felt was definitely an honorable mention. I flipped around that many wingers. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak for me had an incredible game, 200 meters. Was like really, really good out the back. I thought it was one of our better pieces there. This week is really tough in those positions there too. My centers, I agree with you. Jacob Carraz, bro. Incredible game from him. You know, playing in a position that I don't really prefer Carraz in that center position, but he killed it over the weekend. So in a position that I don't prefer him at, played amazing there. And obviously he dominated on that center position there. The other one, Philip Sammy. We spoke about Philip Sammy last week. I thought he had a very, very solid game for the Titans over the weekend. Contributed in multiple different areas. And just, you know, his tackle break ability is just on a different level. I think he made upwards of like 10 tackle breaks in that game. He was incredible there. Then my halves was Jaden Campbell, Nathan Cleary. You had Jaden Campbell as your 6?
Same. Yep.
Yeah, agreed, bro. Agreed. Yep. And obviously Nathan Cleary, we can't say too much. Like, he's incredible, right? He's just on a different level, that bloke.
Yeah, there wasn't another halfback that came close to him on the weekend. As good as, you know, the Melbourne spine looked together again in Jerome Hughes. But yeah, 7 out and out this week. Nobody came close to Cleary. That's absolutely insane. You know,
it's god tier numbers, bro. At a stadium that is fairly hard to actually play at with the Dragons. You know, a lot of people probably say the Dragons, they've been fairly good this year, but a lot of people just like put their nose up at the Dragons, say, oh, it should be an easy beat for the Panthers. But Wynn Stadium's actually been a fortress for the Dragons this season. They've put like 13 plus performances on Manly, on Arse, majority, like a lot of big teams against, you know, the Dragons have struggled at Wynn Stadium.
And then we go Panthers up front this year as well. So, you know, so.
It's not, exactly, bro. Like, it's not an easy game for the Panthers, and Nathan Cleary to do that against a first grade squad, like, that is just freakish. And the Nad. Get out.
You're not wrong.
All right, up front, we got AFB, bro. Totally agree. My honorable mention was Mo Fotuaika because I knew that you were going to pick Mo Fotuaika because he had an incredible game at the weekend. My little honorable mention here, I got a couple of stats for him as well. Griffin Neem, bro. 30 minutes in this game. Yeah. Bro, freakish.
Seen that.
177 meters, 61 post contact, 5 tackle breaks, 15 tackles. Incredible performance there from Griffin Neame in 37 minutes, bro. Like,
Yeah,
had
the
to
only
pick up
thing
the
that
slack.
made me not pick him was the only 15 tackles, but I didn't actually see how long he played. He didn't play long at all. I should have looked at the minutes, but yeah, I did see Griffin Neame.
Yep.
Man, that was an outstanding performance for him, and he really dominated that Sharks bench. You know, like the Sharks normally have one of the best benches in the game, where they come on and bring so much energy for him, but he just took that away from them. He was on a mission on the weekend.
He's got so much potential for a front row, bro. And I've said it multiple times. So, like, any like Warriors fan out there, if there's anyone I want to bring home at the moment that looks like they have, like, not just the ability, but have the mindset, it's Griffin Neame. Like, I love Griffin Neame as a footballer. I think he's got a ton of potential for the future. Moving to my edge back rollers, bro, we got Hudson Young and Jacob Preston. Again, this was a really, really tough one, bro. I mixed the match, so many different combinations there. I think Presto had to be there for over the weekend. A couple of really big moments against the Broncos. And Hudson Young with a couple of big try efforts and all that for the Raiders, and just having a big game that he have once every so often. You know, probably having one of his better seasons there too. And Isaiah Yeo was my 13. I went with Isaiah Yeo there. I didn't want to put any little bit of Warriors bias in there. I actually was like really trying to shove in Dallin Watene-Lesniak somewhere in there, but I couldn't really fit him in there. But we have AFB there. He'll carry the flag for us. But I thought Isaiah Yeo was incredible for the middle against the Dragons. And it's a pretty solid Dragons pack there that, you know, goes through like, you know, we're talking DeBella and all those boys there. Like, they're incredible. So, yeah, that's my team for the week, bro. Not too many differences there, really, other than probably Philip Sami, Gerald Skelton, stuff like that, and Griffin Neame. Actually, I didn't say my number 9. Who was your number 9 for the round? Appy. Yeah, Uppy was close. I had Tom Starling. I think Tom Starling, that was his best game of the year. Honestly,
I didn't
like,
actually
he played
catch that
decent
game.
Yep, bro. He pretty much had looked like the Damien Cook from Wish, as we all know about Tom Starling. But he's
pretty much.
When he's on, ready to go, he was incredible. Another guy I wanted to talk about too that could have filled in my 6th role. Shout out to Lockie Galvin. I thought, like, out of majority of that Tigers squad, I thought Isaiah Papali'i played well. I thought that Api Coruscant played amazing, of course. But I thought him in a side that was on the back foot majority of that game there. And when they started to shift momentum, he was one of the main pieces that was worrying me. A couple of really nice nudges in behind. He was just working hard. The one big error that took it away from it is that one moment there where they were, I think, at that 20 or 30, trying to kick it out own end, and it caused the error. But other than that, I thought he was really, really solid too. So I think he's growing into such a solid player there for number 6 for the Tigers. But Jaden Campbell has been incredible form for that 6 for the Titans, though.
Yeah, look, Lockie Galvin, man, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if they're winning. He doesn't care if they're losing. And what I mean by he doesn't care in a good way. He plays his footy no matter the scoreline, no matter what's going right, no matter what's going wrong. He's just a kid that plays with so much confidence. Like, if they're down, he knows that he needs to try and pull something out. So as soon as they get any sort of shape, bang, he just tries to attack. And you can't fault his effort, man. He's trying so hard, and it's great to see, especially after the rumors that he wanted to leave, man. So I think that's outstanding from him, and I reckon he's going to benefit so much with Jerome Luai next to him next year.
100%, bro. Well, talking about Jerome Luai moving to the Tigers, let's get through the news for the week, bro. The first big news, obviously, all the massive rumors about Brian To'o. Is he on the move? Is he not on the move? We saw, obviously, the Danny Wilder come out and say he is on the move. He's heard all the rumors, all of it's coming out there. Like, you know, the Panthers are shopping around, or Brian To'o is trying to shop around there. But then the Panthers have come out and said, no way, there is nothing going on here. Danny Wilder's been caught in these, like, sort of, like, you know, moments here this year. Obviously, the Billy Slater comments that he made at the end of Origin, saying that him and Selwyn Cobbo didn't get along. He was the one that put that story out, that Queensland had pretty much said that's not going on, nothing's going on there. Danny Wilder again doubled down on now this one, Brian To'o. Do you reckon there's any opportunity for Brian To'o to leave the Panthers? And if he was to go, give us some clubs that you reckon he would be incredible at the moment. Like, he'd probably go every club, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's Brian To'o. He would just do his job at no matter what club he's at. But judging off, you know, looking at the character that Brian To'o is, I don't see him dishonoring his contract. Nah. I really don't. I think he'll stick his contract out no matter what it is. And then we'll see unless the Panthers tell him he has to go, due to the fact that they're probably struggling with cap space. But if I was the Panthers, man, don't let him go. You know, flick the likes of Isaac Tungo and keep someone like Brian To'o.
Yeah.
But I don't see why they'll need to free him up for cap space, considering they are losing, Sully. No, so who are they losing? The winger.
Suni Taruva. Yep.
River. Yeah, yep. So
That's
they're
him.
losing him. I don't think they'll need to free up anybody else, in my opinion. But and Luai, they're losing Luai as well. So I don't know why they would need to try and free up the cap space. But yeah, I don't see him breaking a contract that he's signed. He'll stick that out. But for whatever reason, if he did leave, let's say he does leave, man, any club would be fucking so lucky to have him. I think he would absolutely kill it at, Melbourne, in that system. He would probably go to the Tigers more than likely to follow, Luai, their best mates. Why not play with your best mate if you could? It's like work. You'd love to work with your best mate if you could.
Hey.
So, hey, look at us. Look at us.
Look at us now.
But in all honesty, yeah, like Toto's the man, bro. So I could sit here and rattle off whatever teams you'd fit at, but he'd fit at every single team, in my opinion. So, but I don't see him breaking his contract. So, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out. The media's always got to spin up a story. It's been a bit dry since Origin's finished. They got nothing to talk about. So they got to spin something up, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's just weird that usually with the NRL, like sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. Like there's what would have tipped him off to be like, to make this story. But then again, I totally agree with you. He doesn't come off as the guy to do that sort of stuff. He always seems to be happy to be at the Penrith Panthers. Like he's one of the big role models there at the moment too. Whether it was maybe the Panthers shopping him around, because a lot of the wording in the like, obviously the news report and stuff is saying that he was being shopped around in a way. And I was like, whether, players like Isaac Tungo's contract and then bringing over someone else who we're going to be talking about a little bit later, even Isaiah Papali'i, whether they were looking at making cap space for moving players on and that. But you'd keep Brian Toto out of everyone else at that club, right? Like I wouldn't say that 100%. If you got any other contract issues, you're losing Fisher Harris as well. Like how much salary cap issues would you really have there, in my opinion? Like
there shouldn't be any cap issues there. I know, Dylan Edwards will probably get an upgrade of a contract if he hasn't already. Fair enough. But yeah, you're losing Luai, Fisher Harris, and Taruva. Man, it's another 3 players they're losing again this season for next season. They're losing players every year. The Panthers are producing good players every year, but yes, they're losing so many and not really signing anyone. Like, where do you finally give a team credit that they've built players in their backyard? That's the sad thing, man. They've had this team since I was 16, and they've been torn apart. They've lost players every year, and they still make it to the grand final and win a grand final. But that's not going to live forever. Melbourne's still going strong, yes, but they're not winning grand finals. So Penrith's time is going to swap out soon. And I know you can't just leave a stacked started side in the same team every year, because I'll just take it out every year and it's not fair on everyone else. But it's not fair that they're getting punished for growing superstars in their backyard. You know what I mean?
When no one else has really done it to their level. So it's like, is it really like their fault or is it our fault? Like, you know what I mean? Look at us as the Warriors. We've only just putting our development systems in place now after COVID almost like completely wrecked our club. It had a strong chance to completely wreck our club. The amount of money we spent to get over here, stay over here. Our development systems weren't really in place properly before that. We finally get them into place now. Like clubs like us should have been getting that ready before that. Like the amount of talent in New Zealand that used to get pinched all the time from us. Like it's just like the Penrith Panthers have figured something out. They've done it the right way. They haven't bought players like like the Roosters, some of the bigger clubs in the competition that just go out, spend their money, bring the best players over. They've grown it homegrown, and they're like they should be able to keep majority of them if there was a way of like maybe salary cap, compensation for that or whatever. But I agree with you there too. Is like they would be incredible there again. Like it really up to a lot of other teams probably to step up to their level too. You know what I mean? However long could that take? You see that with the Doggies, you've got a great junior system. You're finally getting to see, some of the juniors come through soon now. Like you've seen a couple now, but there's going to be a lot more later on. Like your New South Wales Cup team's full of them. It's going to grow like that. But it's taken a while before every other team's really got to around this level now. So yeah, it sucks that they have to if that was the case, they had to let go of players like this to really continue, funding their salary cap and that. But I don't know too many other ways they could really figure it out other than I've always thought about the relegation sort of system and how it may not even have to go to relegation, but how soccer goes, the homegrown talents they have through camp. As soon as if they get pinched from other teams and that teams have to pay them money. So that builds the money pool in that club, if that makes sense. So they're building juniors, but they're building more money for it, and they're going to pay for bigger players later on. You know what I mean? Like if there was a way to do that too, I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting, really talking point, because I do believe that they've done it the right way, right? Like they've done it the way that should be done, right?
I agree 100%. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is. Obviously, you can't leave them stacked. Otherwise, I'll just take it out year in, year out. I understand that. You know, there's got to be some sort of balance in the competition. But, man, where do you draw the line? You know, like you said, it's not like they're out here buying the premiership. They're growing most of their players at home. So, yeah, that's the rough bit, I guess. And I guess that's what it sucks to have such good, talented players that eventually need a price increase on their contract. And, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know the answer for it. I really don't. Otherwise, you know, it'll make the competition too unfair, because I'll just win it every year if they kept that side that they won, you know, 2-3 years ago. If they still had Kickout, Coruscant, Burton, man, no stopping them. So, you know, it's good in a way that they lose, you know, some of that strike power, but you feel for them. You got to feel for them. But then again, they've won enough grand finals for the next 20 years, I guess. So
yeah, they got bragging rights now too. And we're probably going to add to that too. We're talking about BLAIZE Talagi, obviously on the move from the Parramatta Eels. It's been fully confirmed that he won't be there in 2025. But there is rumors going around, hasn't been fully confirmed yet, but that he is signed for the Penrith Panthers to play 6 with Nathan Cleary. As we kind of touched on, I've messaged you about this today, and we're going back and forth. Like number one, I think it's a really great move for the Penrith Panthers. The kid's got a ton of talent and all that. Also feel for players like Jack Cole that have got a ton of potential. That 6 jersey for the Penrith Panthers. We've seen a lot of him this year. A young junior that's absolutely killing it. Dane Laurie as well. That could have had an opportunity, that 6 jersey. Brad Schneider. They had a lot of these guys just waiting around for that 6 jersey. Obviously got signed to the club. BLAIZE Talangi's now come over and is probably going to fill out that jersey. Your thoughts overall on, first of all, leaving the Eels and what that means for the Eels this year, next year, and then the Penrith Panthers next year with him at 6. What's your thoughts around him playing 6?
Look, anybody could play 6 outside of, you know, Nathan Cleary. He does all the tough stuff, all the thinking for you. All you got to do is basically look up and play footy outside Nathan Cleary. So he makes your job really easy there, playing 6 at the Panthers with the likes of Isaiah Yeo and, you know, Nathan Cleary there. But, you know, BLAIZE Talangi is not a bad option to sign for the Panthers. And all those other guys, yes, you feel hard done by, but, you know, the Panthers do like to rest their players. You know, Nathan Cleary's got an injury in him. They have a lot of guys out during Origin, you know, so there's periods there where they will have to use those guys. They need that deeper squad. And they don't mind playing guys out of position. You know, Dane Laurie will play in the centers and still kill it. You know, Jack Cole will play in the halves, and they'll probably move BLAIZE to fullback during Origin period. You know, they got so much flexibility there. It's just about next man up. That's the system that the Penrith Panthers have copied basically from Melbourne. You know, the spine is that the group is that deep there. Their preseason, they know they've done all their hard work in the preseason. So no matter what happens in the season, doesn't phase them. You know, it's exactly like Melbourne. It's just next man up. All right, we've got an injury. All right, next man up. It's just how it goes, and that's what separates the good clubs from the great clubs. It's as simple as that. So, BLAIZE Talangi, man, it's the best move you could make, short of probably going to the Roosters. I actually probably think it's a better move than going to the Roosters. Yes, there's so much benefits that come with the Roosters, but if you want a system that you want to build yourself in and grow in, Melbourne or Panthers is the way to go. Look at Paul Alamonte, look at Nick Meaney, look at Eli Katoa. You know, those guys that went to that system, you know, where they had talent, but they just lacked. And now it's just consistent hard work in those teams, and it's brought out the best of them.
Yeah, they're making some really good signings here, the Penrith Panthers, with players that are coming onto the market and stuff. You know, obviously getting Isaiah Papali'i from the Tigers coming into next year. I'm excited to see that guy go to a whole different level under that Panthers system, as we kind of saw with him in that Parramatta system. Just think of that maybe on a little bit of added, you know, that added little step up there from that sort of guy. Like, he was incredible at that period there, bro. He was incredible. But BLAIZE, I touched with you, like, you know, when we're going back and forth for this, he reminds me, when I saw him play 6 with Dylan Brown playing 7 there for that little period there, he moved. It was pretty much looking at like a duplicate of Dylan Brown, not so much like the final little bit of touches that makes Dylan Brown probably that, you know, that 2 or 3 levels above, because BLAIZE is still so young as a rookie, and maybe defensively is the only area where I can really see out of him at the moment where he needs to really fix up on. Other than that, like, the Panthers may have just signed another Dylan Brown type of like number 6. Like that to me screams like this, the future of the Panthers, like with Nathan Cleary and this kid, like could be really, really high. And this could be one of the big signings, you know, and it really sucks for the Parramatta Eels to lose someone like this. So now they've lost, you know, a junior 7 they had built up, you know, as in Ethan Sanders, that's going to the Raiders, a really, really good number 7. And then BLAIZE Talagi, who was definitely, you know, since a young age, I heard that many rumors of him for even last year, the year before, when I started doing content and I started really looking into a lot of his stuff. Like he had a big name for the Eels. He's the one they've been waiting for. He finally got a crack. Having to leave now, I do think a lot of it has come down to probably the Eels management. I don't think the Eels management have done a lot right for the last, you know, couple of years maybe. But yeah, it sucks for the Eels. I think it's going to be an incredible signing for the Penrith Panthers. They fix up his defense, which we know the Panthers are the best at doing. Like, I think the attacking potential of this kid has the potential of like someone like a Dylan Brown, in my opinion. That's what I see out of him. So I can't wait to see what he can do in that jersey, bro.
I'm excited to see it as well, brother. And I really think the Eels probably got proposed with an opportunity where it was like him or Gutho or him or Brown. All right, fair enough. You run with Brown and Moses. Maybe look at moving on Gutho and keeping BLAIZE at the back there. But, hey, that's what they went with, and it will be BLAIZE on the move. They want to stick with Gutho, Brown, and Moses. Understandable. You know, that's a good, pretty solid spine. And you let the young guy go, but, you know, it's probably going to come and bite you in a couple of years, you know. Gutho is pretty broken at the moment as well. He probably needs a really good offseason to really fix those injuries. So the Eels can actually have a good crack and start to the season, because they're really getting let down by the starts of their season. And I think that's because they got, you know, Moses and Gutho, who really do have an injury in them. So BLAIZE at the Panthers, man, is going to be a new beast. And like I said, anybody can be pretty great outside Nathan Cleary. He takes all the hard work off you. So he's really going to get to just flourish and play what's in front of him. And I really do believe he'll fix up that defense around his problems straight away, without a doubt. So excited.
Bro, and just even more news, bro. It's just news day on news day. Valentine Holmes, bro. You know, the Cowboys looking at shopping Valentine Holmes and really figuring out what's his value and maybe if he's willing to go to another club, you know, obviously next year. Your thoughts on this? What clubs are you circling? Like, I know we both had this big name in our heads straight away when I saw it. What's your thoughts around Valentine Holmes, and will he get a move away from the Cowboys?
I think that's smart for the Cowboys. I think he's overpriced now. You know, he's on the way out. Definitely. He's not doing the numbers he used to. They've already pushed him to a wing to save him defensively. You know, that's not all there. So I think, I know he did end up playing center on the weekend because Talagi came back in, but, you know, the option was there and they were looking to push him to the wing. So, but I think, you shop him around, because clearly they're not thinking that he's a center anymore. And obviously you don't drop him completely. So they still played him there on the weekend with Talagi back. But I think you shop him around. He's not worth, I think you'd roughly be on that 700-800K, right?
From memory, with that NFL, when he came back to the NFL, it was upwards of like 800 to 900K. I remember a lot of people kicking up a stink. Why are you playing a center that money? So it's 100%. Still a big contract. Yeah.
So I think you shop him around. I think he might end up at somebody at the likes of the Broncos, only due to the simple fact that Selwyn Cobbo should be ruled out of the game now, going off the news that's already been released that he's been arrested on his charges. I think, you know, the Broncos will be in the market to potentially grab Valentine Holmes. You know, Corey Oates on the way out, so you put him into the wing role, and then you run, you know, Mariner and Katoni Staggs at your centers, and then the next club is the Roosters. They seem to buy every kind of superstar off the market, so but I really tip them to potentially sign Selwyn Cobbo. And I'll probably tip them to sign Selwyn Cobbo even more now after what he's done, because that's just who the Roosters are. You need a good lawyer, go to the Roosters. Go to the Roosters. I'll get you off, brother, and you'll be playing next year. So,
right, there's a lot of names for the Roosters, bro. Obviously losing Joey Manu next year and Joseph Sorli'i. So they've got 2 holes there to fill in centre. They got Billy Smith, who's been dealing with injury, but that's the big thing. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries throughout his career. You got Valentine Holmes on the market. There's a lot of rumors that they were hunting at Katoni Staggs, even though he's still under contract, whether they can move him along. And there was Selwyn Cobbo. The name got brought up multiple times there too, as you said. Like, there's a lot of movement that could be happening there with the Roosters. That was the first name that came to my head. And then when you brought up the Broncos sort of thing, I was like, yeah, I can definitely see that. Whether if he does end up, going back to a winger sort of position, because we probably like seeing now, wing is his best position. I think like
100%.
at the Cowboys, possibly like center is his best position because you got Cole Felt and Murray Talagi on both your wings. But if you're able to have a wing spot there for him, I think he'll do a job there. You know, especially for the Broncos, I can only imagine that out of the back of shape of Reece Walsh and stuff. So yeah, big moves incoming, bro. Like it's been a massive day with movement, and also we'll touch on a little bit more. Jazzy Tevaga with the Warriors, bro. This one is a little bit of a curveball. He just put up on Instagram. It's just been noted that Jazzy Tevaga will be moving on from the Warriors at the end of this year. Unfortunately, not coming to, agreement with the contract. Apparently, we have lowballed this man. Really unfortunate to see because he's been one of our spiritual, leaders, one of the a cult hero for us there too. Energy from the middle. I love Jazzy Tevaga. He really he is a warrior to me. He's always been a warrior, always will be a warrior. But your thoughts on that, and how much does that kind of affect us in a way? I know we got a lot of good juniors coming through, but we're losing probably a little bit of our heart, with Jazzy Tevaga.
Yeah, look, I think you lose more of a character than you do talent. Obviously Tevaga's, he's a good footballer. He's tough. You know what you're going to get with him. He shows up, he does his job. But unfortunately, that doesn't attract the big money these days. You know what I mean? You can kind of recruit any young guy coming through that will give you, what he can produce these days. I love Jazzy. I feel for him, but I guess with him getting that little bit older, that little bit slower, he's got the injuries around him. If you're thinking long term for the Warriors, and by long term I mean the next 4 years, it's probably not a bad option. You can't really be offering him, upwards of 400K in my eyes these days. When you can kind of, mold somebody 18, 19 that will give you what he's got, but half the injuries. You know what I mean? So you got to love Jazzy, but I see where they're coming from. And you could potentially see Jazzy find himself at a club that's sort of, in that bottom 13, 14 of the competition that will need that leadership, that will need that bit of mongrel. Potentially, I know they're not bottom 13, 14, but, Canberra, I kind of tie in Canberra with New Zealand a fair bit, just weather related. It's either Englishmen or Kiwis that sort of go to the, Canberra and play there. The other club I potentially see him potentially ending up at is, the Tigers, to help, try and mold those younger ones into place a little bit. So it's sad. It's sad for Jazzy. He might even just say, look, I'm not going to play. He might just pull the pin. I know he wanted to be a Warrior forever. So, he might find himself just pull the pin, or he might go to, England and get that money that he's chasing.
Yeah, so England's definitely in the cards as well, bro. And I totally agree with you. It's sad because we are losing, as I said, a little bit of us. Like, he is definitely what our club wants to be, or is what, I mean, the heart, he plays like a warrior. But agreed, bro. Like, he's been with us for a while now. And obviously he's grown under Webby. Like, I felt like he's hit a different level, because there's been years past where he just couldn't get errors out of his game. He always had those big bad moments. The only thing, he just always keep turning up. But people fell in love with him, obviously with Webby, where he kind of toned down a little bit of the errors and really got through his work. But again, bro, it's probably more of a sign that we are starting to really look into our younger players after 2 years now of developing this young crop of juniors we got coming through, with Sifakulas, the Lekalasemas of the world. So we're looking at probably more game time and opportunity for those boys hitting their top 30 now. So that's probably what it's looking like. But again, shout out to Jazzy. You've been an incredible warrior. I hate to lose you, but unfortunately it just seems to be the way that everything's gone. And he's got to be a warrior for life no matter what. Like, I'll always just see him as a warrior.
He won't play in the NRL, in my opinion. I reckon he'll go to England and get that bread. He won't want to play for another NRL club. I reckon it will break him too much. That's just the type of guy he is. He'll go to England, I reckon, get the money he's chasing, because he probably won't attract the money that he's probably after at another club either. So I think, he'll go to England. He'll probably get more than what he's after, and maybe even get a ring over at a good England club. You never know. So I reckon he'll do that for a couple of years and make his money and then retire. Why not?
Might as well, you're alley-ooping me with a whole lot of segues here, my bro. We'll touch on Jackson Hastings, bro. And him apparently been linked to the Super League as well. So both these boys could be shipped over to the Super League. Your thoughts on this sort of move for the Knights? I'm not too sure what, obviously Jack Cogger could be their second option at halfback, but we've seen this year, obviously O'Brien cannot stick to a halves pairing, if that. So what does this mean for the Newcastle Knights? And what does this mean for Jacko? Is this his last go at NRL? Is he probably going to fizzle out in Super League, you reckon?
Well, maybe the Knights should chase some younger talent and juniors. They should probably try and bleed some guys through their system, and find themselves a good half, because, signing the guys that they've got, they're good halves, Hastings, Gamble, Cole, not Cole, Cogger. They're decent halves, but compared to what you want out of your NRL half these days, they're not quite there. You know what I mean? They're mediocre. You send them to England, and they can get that good half money and perform really well over there. So Hastings back to England is probably the best thing for him and his career, his bank account, because he's going to continue to get that money. He's going to continue to get to play good footy, and he'll get the recognition he deserves over there. But unfortunately, he's just behind par in NRL standard halfback these days. As for the Knights, I don't know what you really run with. I think you run with Will Price. I think he's great 6, and you just find a solid 7. And I think maybe Jack Cogger and Will Price is the combination you run with. Hopefully, Phoenix Crossland or Jaden Bailey stays fit. One of those at 9, and Caleb Ponga at the back. But Hastings going to England, man, is the best option for him. I think that's what attracted some NRL clubs to look at him in the first place and bring him back home, because they've seen how well he was doing over there. But I think that's kind of where you draw the line, that he does really well over there, and then it's too far and few between when he's in the NRL.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of things that come into place with Jackson Hastings, because I've seen a lot of good ability out of him. I think he's a really good controlling halfback, but I think a lot of the media over here has gotten to him again. I think that there's obviously been the rumors about his character that has stayed here since his rookie sort of years when he went over the Super League. Obviously in the Super League, the media is not as crazy as what it is over here. We kind of eat people alive in the NRL because it's such a bigger competition over here. It's one of our premier competitions. You got the AFL, the NRL, those sort of stuff, where obviously in England, everyone's talking about the soccer. The Super League is kind of just there. Everyone that loves the Super League just loves the Super League, and there's not a lot of media over there for it. So he started to get the whole, obviously he's starting to get the little bit of the back chat on the football field, and the media's starting to run with it, and he's starting to push his weight around a little bit. So I think it'll probably, as you said, be the best things for Jacko. Go back over there, play some great footy. As Jacko said here in the chat, he won a Man of Steel over there too. Taking Salford or whatever to a grand final. I'm not too sure if he ended up winning that grand final from memory. I don't think he did. Actually, I think he did with Salford, but then he moved on as well. So yeah, from memory. But incredible. He's going to go back there and absolutely kill it. Like a lot of good talent does go over to the Super League, and I agree. I think this might be the last time we see Jackson Hastings. I think he's fair on his career now. The other player I wanted to touch on, do you remember Matt Parcell?
Matt Parcell, yes, the hooker. Yeah.
Used to play, I think, Manly. I think he came through the Broncos system too back in the day.
Yeah, he came through Wynnum Manly through the Broncos. Well, not really through the Broncos, but Wynnum Manly through that system, and then shot off to Manly. Yeah, I do remember Matt Parcell.
There's a bit of rumor that he's hunting to get a spot back into the NRL as well. I'll just run his age and that. Is it Parramatta that he's looking at?
No, it's not. Bro, but fuck, if I was Parramatta, I would be chasing him. He's a solid 9. Brendan Hands has been solid, and he, a couple of preseasons. But Matt Parcell, man, he was tipped to be one of the top 5 hookers, in my opinion.
Yeah. He was a gun, bro, back in the day. From memory, I couldn't believe he left at the time he did. He's 31 now, so he is sort of more later to his career, but they did shop for, Josh Hodgson. So, I wouldn't say they're away from doing that. I think Joey Lussick is up there as well, around that 30 range too. So, I like him, bro. Good ability. Back in the day, I rated him highly. Him and Cade Cuss. So there's 2 players that end up going to the Super League. I was like, why? You guys have got great talent.
They got that express lane, brother. Express lane to a paycheck. Kill it in England. Why not? You get to fish in a smaller pond. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a win-win. Other than you got to put up the shit weather in England.
Shout out to all the Poms in the chat right now. Wouldn't be
There
too
won't
many
be any. They'll
going
be
on here.
napping.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Get
We're
your
moving on
work
to
out,
also.
balance.
You're on a different level. Daniel Tupou, bro, re-signs with the Roosters for 2 more years. Your thoughts here on Daniel Tupou, one of the most consistent wingers probably of all time. He's been incredible for, the consistency he's had throughout his career. Your thoughts on that move for the Roosters?
How old is this motherfucker?
I think he's like 30, 32, something like that, right?
Fuck off, you're watching from London. Come on, hooligan.
All right, he is 33, bro. 2 years, he'll get to 35.
Oh, he's got plenty of time, and he's still killing it. It's kind of easy to kill it at the Roosters, though, on the back end of the fucking team they've got. Let's be real. But, no, he's been solid. He's still pushing upwards of his meters. He's never really too injury prone. He's a great option on the edge, to finish your tries and also to, finish them on catches off kicks. So, yeah, Daniel Tupou, man, great signing. He wouldn't be on the biggest money. He doesn't sound like a guy that's asking $800K to play wing. I reckon you'd be finding him at a nice $500K. And he's doing a job. He's killing it there at the Roosters. He might go down as one of the best wingers of all time for the Roosters.
100%, bro. He's definitely up there. 258 games here, 156 tries. Just been a really good servant for them. And I feel like if it end up coming to a couple of injuries that you had in your blue squad and you really were desperate, I'd say Daniel Tupou would have done 100%. A job, bro. He was incredible. He's just such a good, consistent winger. And I think a lot of people underrate that these days. And he's still got ability, bro. His aerial ability's still there. I can see him going on for another couple of years and playing amazing. So shout out to Daniel Tupou. Obviously,
I think he'll get to 300 games.
Yeah, that'll be good to see.
250 what? He's at
256, I think it was. Yeah.
56. So we got another
2 more years. 27, 20 or 24 game. So he'll just get around about that, if he fills out that contract, and if he's fit every game, so if not, he'll probably sign one more season just to get 300. I reckon he'll push for that 300 game. And bringing up fitness, bro, you are alley-ooping me to segues left, right, and center here. Alex Johnston, the last one I want to touch on. This one sucks though, right? It sucks because Alex Johnston, we want to see him break that record, and this is definitely going to hamper him a little bit from that. I think he's still a good 16 tries away or whatever from that or whatever. But yeah, gone for the season, Achilles injury. Your thoughts on that? And obviously the Rabbitohs, that the injury-riddled season that they've had too with outside backs. I think they're on a whole new rookie this weekend too. So your thoughts there on Alex Johnston?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? It's a guy. It's one of those guys that you just can't hate. AJ, he's just the man. You don't hate on AJ. So you've got to feel for him. It won't take much for him to break that record, though. 16 tries, so he can do that half a season if that Rabbits team is at full strength and firing. So I'm not too worried that he won't get that by the time he finishes his career either. But yeah, very unfortunate for him to not get a few more tries this year. So I do feel for him.
Yeah, he's an incredible player, man. And hopefully, all the talk was, there's a little bit of rumor saying Wayne Bennett was throwing up whether to keep him at the club too at the Rabbitohs. I do hope that he keeps him there because I want to see him get that in a Rabbitohs jersey from start to finish. We all want to see that. And hopefully it doesn't come to the end of his career. Achilles injuries are definitely tough to come by, but these days, with modern medicine, everything going away, he should be back and ready for firing next year.
All that sort of shit. Yeah, he'll be right.
Yeah, we're in a different era. All right, my bro, that's the news story for the weekend. Did you have one more news story? I think we covered pretty much everything from top to bottom. I think we touched everything.
Yeah, other than Selwyn Cobbo, but, it is what it is. I don't want to give him the limelight at the moment. I just hope, he learns from it. He's still such a young athlete, but, where I stand on this sort of stuff. If you do this shit, and 100%. You should be gone. It's simple as that. I don't care how good you are. If you're fucking up your contract like that, see you later. There's so many other guys out there that would kill to be in the position he's in. So that's all I've really got to say on that topic. Whether the allegations are fully true, but he's been arrested, so I guess he's confessed to it, or there's been evidence against him. So, but yeah, I hope there's a lot of other guys out there that get that crack. And in my opinion, I think he shouldn't deserve to play in the NRL again, but again, that won't happen. We'll see him at the Roosters or something. Those guys just turn a blind eye to all that shit. So
yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man. It's such a, like, you know, if it is, like, it's such a waste of talent, just stupid things. I don't understand it. Like, I don't think we, like, yeah, don't understand how you can even get yourself in that mental space if it is all true. Like, I just don't know. It's stupid, bro. Like, but moving on to a little bit of happier little segment, or it could go even worse here. We could call everyone overrated, but overrated, fairly rated, and underrated, my brother. Who we got this week for our overrateds?
Also, I've got someone call it. No, just kidding.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Too soon. All right, so we'll start off with a guy that had a killer weekend. So Mo Fodawaker. Where do you rate him? Origin player.
It's tough. I'd say fairly rated at the moment. I thought early on he was fairly underrated. Remember that he had that first Maroons jersey. I thought he was playing some of his best football around that period there. I still don't think he's gotten back to that level just yet. I know he got a Maroons jersey this year and had an incredible performance over the weekend, but this year he's been kind of under the radar, sort of like, you know, getting for his business, but still not having the same impact of like there was a couple of years ago that he was holding the flag for the Titans. He's kind of lost that a little bit, and he's kind of regathering that. So I'll probably say fairly rated at the moment, bro. But you know, he has the possibility to be underrated as well.
Yeah, I think if Legler, Gilbert, those type of guys, Tino, they're fit, he probably does miss that Origin jersey. But yeah, he's still so young. I reckon he had a killer breakout, and you know, he's trying to get back to that form. I think he will. You know, we started to see a bit of a limelight again on the weekend from him, back to that form. So I definitely think he's fairly rated at this stage. Connor Tracy, brother.
Connor Tracy, underrated for a guy that was unwanted for the Sharkies. I thought the Sharkies would have tried to keep him as much as they can. But yeah, underrated, bro. The work he's done out of the back end for you guys, he's just straightened you guys up like completely out of the back end. The top end speed surprised me out of him. Like when he was playing center in that, like we've seen little bits of moments with the Sharkies, but not enough to where I was like, oh, this guy's quick. But when with the Dogs out the back of shape, I was like, bro, he's got some toe to him as well. So he's definitely impressed me this year. So I got to go underrated. I don't think a lot of people are talking enough about how much he's helped the Doggies. Like you see the difference with Blake Taff and Connor Tracy. For me, if I watch game by game, is a massive difference, and to me that's an underrated player.
100%. He's got, you know, that half mind. You know, he grew up playing junior footy as a half. You know exactly what you want every position to do in your team. You know what you want your fullback to do. You know what you want your center to do. So you know you can fill into those roles really easily, and he's showing that. So Connor Tracy, man, definitely underrated. Tommy Talau, and I'm not talking about his pool game. I'm talking about his footy game. So
I think shout out Jess Surges. The Riz game is on point. I expected so much more out of the Zach Lomax and his matchup too earlier on this year. I thought there was going to be so much more fireworks in that one, but really unfortunate. So that matchup was underrated or overrated, sorry, going into that weekend. Now, what I would say for Tommy Talau, I'd say early on in his career, he was overrated. He had a ton of raps over him, and injuries have held him back from that. Right now, I'd probably say he's getting to a level where I'm like, okay, he's a decent first grader week in, week out. He's had some big moments for the Seagulls this year, filling in that wing position, holding out Garrick to play in the centers. I know that's what they prefer, but you know, he's also holding out Jackson Bolo, players like that. So I'm going to say at the moment fairly rated again, because I couldn't say he's underrated because early on in his career, he had all the raps over him and he just hasn't touched that just yet. So yeah, he's got time.
I agree. I 100% agree on that one. I'm pretty sure I've done Wade Egan before. Quick
I don't know. Yeah. I think the only thing that holds Wade Egan back is injuries. So for me, he's grown so much under us. If you get people to name the top 10 hookers in a competition, I do think a lot of people probably would forget Wade Egan. That's just maybe could be my rosy colored glasses. I don't know. But I'd say underrated to fairly rated because I also don't think that he could get me wrong. I don't think he has the ability to be a top 3 hooker or anything like that in a competition, but he's got the ability to be a really good hooker for us and probably one of our best hookers all time. If he continues, you know, get his body right. That's the biggest thing for him is his body.
Yeah. I do agree on that, actually. You know, there was rumors that he could have potentially snuck into that Blues jersey. So you might,
that's right.
You know, that top 3 could be there. You know, he could just, well, put it this way. If you put Wade Egan back into the Panthers system now, probably be top 3, right?
Oh,
Like,
bro.
you know what I mean? Like, let's
Brandy would
leave
say,
it there.
Brandy will say otherwise. Greg Alexander will say otherwise. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, well, fuck Brandy. Yeah.
Love that.
Sione Katoa.
Sione Katoa, the Sharkies winger, Sione Katoa. I think there's a couple of Sione Katoas out there. Obviously, we talk about
the one
that
that plays wing for the Sharks.
Yeah. Ooh, I would say underrated. Has the ability to be fairly rated because I think errors can really hamper his game a little bit. But I still probably going back to what I kind of said about Wade Egan. If you talk about some of the best wingers in the competition, I don't think he's the best winger in the competition in that, but I think he's been a good, consistent winger for the Sharkies. As I said, like before, anything that holds him back is every now and then errors get into his game. But on the opposite end, they got Ronaldo Mulitalo that has all the raps in the world, but he can have a silly error out of him as well. So Sione Katoa for me is underrated. Fairly rated, underrated. Yeah, I'll stick with underrated at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's just as good as Ronaldo, if not better. And, you know, Ronaldo's got all the raps on him. Whereas, like, I don't know, I feel like Sione doesn't get as much raps. And he does, just as much, if not better work. But the flashy stuff, you know, I guess Ronaldo's doing. You know, he'll score the line break, 70-meter, chip chase, try. Yeah, but, you know, you got Katoa that finishes almost every try. He's doing the work out of his back end. So, yeah, for me, he's underrated. Tyson Frizzell, brother.
Underrated. I'll stick to that. I think there was a period where he was fairly rated. He was one of the best back rows in the competition, made origins, was one of the best. And then I think after that point where a couple of injuries came to his game, obviously left the Dragons going to the Knights. I feel like he's gone into that underrated sort of, area. I don't think that a lot of people give enough credit to how big he is for the Newcastle Knights. Every time we come up against the Newcastle Knights, just talking as a Warriors fan, he's the out and out, like other than KP and the big names that you get talk about, no one brings up Tyson Frizzell as in that guy. If I was to tell you all the, like, you know, the origin names you could have brought up for the Blues, I feel like that Tyson Frizzell will probably be under, you know, the Galomatungis and all that in the world. You got Olaguatus and stuff like that, where I feel like Tyson Frizzell still would have done a great job for you guys out there too. So I've got to go underrated, bro. I think he's incredible.
He still killed it last year when he filled in that game or two
100%.
last year for Origin. So yeah, it just shows the caliber that Tyson Frizzell is, and the standard that he holds himself to. So going on to another Tyson Gamble.
Ooh, I would say, because it's tough, because I don't think a lot of people probably rate him anyway. But even then, I'll probably say he is I don't know. I want to say overrated. I do want to say overrated. Just because, like, I feel like what's got him to rugby league, like to first grade, is more of his chat and his effort, like, which is a great thing. Like, I think effort is a major part of rugby league, right? But I think, like, his ability is kind of getting showed with the Knights now to why the reason why he's in and out of lineups. Obviously, injuries have been hampered with that as well. He's fairly inconsistent. But again, like, as I said, if I say overrated, I don't think a lot of people probably rate him really that highly either. So I would probably stick to overrated because I think he's a good New South Wales Cup half, like 6. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, look, you're 100% right. He's got the talent by the looks of it, you know, and the hard work is there. You know, I'm sure he's a fucking powerhouse in the gym. I'm sure he keeps himself really fit. But it's tough, man. I'd potentially maybe like to see him get on the move from maybe Newcastle, separate himself from that. You know, they can't, or find it, if Newcastle find a new coach, would probably be the best thing for him. Either or, I think he needs to maybe separate himself from that Newcastle system. You know, maybe shop himself around. You know, maybe go back to the Broncos. You know, play there when Adam Reynolds is out. That might be a good system for him to find himself back in. He's a big body. You know, he's got a decent kicking game. And then the efforts there, you know, he's a guy that you want on your team when things are going right because he's in the opposition's face. That's what you love about, I guess, his attitude towards the game. But yeah, I gotta go maybe fairly rated, hampering up to that overrated, I guess. I think so. I think
people think he's going to be. If people are going to think he's going to be a full term 6, I would say he's overrated in that sort of sense. I think that he could have a really good ability to be a good 14 off a bench and like inject himself into a game, especially with his chat and stuff. Maybe he could work himself into a 13 sort of role where all he has to do is figure out, like, getting in the middle, getting through the hard stuff. I think that suits him a lot more than doing a lot of the like the proper playmaking out the back. His kicking game's solid in that, but Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't want to be too crazy on it because again, I don't think a lot of people rate him highly, but like, yeah, that's really where I see him is more of a really good, maybe New South Wales Cup 6 or something like that. Could be a
Yeah.
decent 13 in the competition. Who knows?
I think the new age 13 on what sides are sort of leaning towards he'd be good. He's pretty
Yeah.
tall. Get a bit of size about him, and try and mold him into like Isaiah Yo. Ball
Yeah.
play that middle role. Could be best for him. So I don't know, but I think he maybe needs to leave Newcastle. Maybe come back to the Dolphins. Not a bad option.
He could be a player like Kurt Mann too, in waiting. You know what I mean? Like Kurt Mann was played as a half early on in his career, didn't have the full ability there. He was jumping back and forth. That I see a lot of that in him too. So yeah, 100% right. I think we're on the right track there.
I think so. Brendan Smith this season. Brendan Smith
this season. Definitely hasn't.
Yeah. Roosters stint.
He definitely hasn't hit the ability of what he can be. So I'd say overrated for now. But again, I do believe that like injuries have probably hurt him from that, and probably the system of the Roosters just doesn't suit him just yet. But I think the more reps he gets under his belt, I think you'll see a lot better of a Brendan Smith. I think his kicking game's fairly underrated. I really do. I think that's one area in his game that he probably is really good at. The ball playing out of dummy half still needs a tiny bit of work for me. Defensively, you can't knock that at all. I think he's one of the best defensive hookers in the competition.
Yeah, well, that's why people throw
up. Yeah, people throw up the 13 look, and he definitely suits a 13 no matter what. But for me, just a tad overrated, just because like the Roosters signed him to be, top grade number 9. Injuries and that just held him back from that just yet, but he has the ability to go into that fairly rated category after a little bit of period there.
I think he made a mistake signing to the Roosters for his own personal game. Obviously, it's not a mistake signing for your bank account. Signing to the Roosters for your bank account's great, but for his own personal game, I think signing to the Roosters is a terrible option. I think he likes to play his own game out of 9, whereas he kind of has to put that on the shelf when he's playing for the Roosters. He kind of has to go to the likes of Teddy, and then his halves and Walker and Keary. The Panthers, again, wouldn't match Brendan Smith's style. I feel like he needs to go to a side kind of like Canberra Raiders. Parramatta Eels, again, that would be good. Him buying that Parramatta Eels forward pack, imagine that. He could turn that around for those guys. I think he lacked there. He doesn't get that free pass to run, and running is one of his best strong suits.
That's the thing I was just about to touch on you with, is like, if you were to say the one thing you remember from Brendan Smith that's kind of gone missing from him this year, it's the running game out of dummy half, bro. It's the moments where the markers were a bit shifty, either end of the ruck, and he'll pick the ball up and just go. And even darting out of dummy half for tries, like he was so consistent at that for the Melbourne Storm. He's lost that, and you're 100% right. The system of the Roosters really suits a dummy half that just gets through defensive work and, just passes off the deck. That's it. Don't do anything fancy. It just doesn't suit him. So I agree with you there. I think he needs a team that just allows him to play football, like sort of like what the Tigers have given Api Coruscant, if that makes sense.
100%. So yeah. All right, sticking with the Roosters, we're going to go with Victor Radley.
Ooh, I've actually enjoyed a lot of Victor Radley lately, him being on an edge, and I've enjoyed that they've moved him onto the edge at the moment, because I feel like when he was at 13, he was kind of falling into that overrated category of like, early part of his career, he was going to be the next best 13, and he hasn't touched that. So that's where I'd probably sit him overrated. But I would say that I've enjoyed his work at that edge back role, and he has the ability to become a fairly rated player for me and get to his ability. It probably won't be that 13, the God tier 13 is what everyone talked about earlier on career, but I think he'd be a very good edge back role for the future, and a bodyguard for Sammy Walker for the future too. So yeah,
he's a very Liam Martin build on that back row look, and I think that probably suits him a lot more than trying to be this ball playing gun lock. So, I think overrated for sure, but now he's starting to find that form where it's like, all right, I can see where you're rated, but unfortunately it's not what you were rated for, which was going to be that lock. So I 100% agree. You're spot on, brother. I think second row is looking like the best spot for him, really to protect Sammy Walker as well. He's doing that job perfectly, and he's really rattled in the discipline side of things. So, and the last one, man, is Jordan Rapana.
Jordan Rapana. Bro, this one, like, if Lockie's in the chat, Lockie's gonna hate this one. I think Rapana's a little bit underrated, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
The effort he has in the game, if you sprinkle that effort into some of the most talented players in the competition that don't have that, like, they would take it to a whole different. I love that he's in every single game. You can put him at fullback. You know he's going to try his fucking heart out. The only thing that hampers him is he tries too hard sometimes, and he comes up with some silly shit.
Yeah,
but you know, comparatively to some other players out there that just like would just turn off and just like switch completely off, Rapana never will. And he'll defend to his last effort, whether it is running in with an elbow or running in with the shoulder charge or something like that. I'd rather have that than have a guy that just will not want to make a tackle. So I think underrated.
100%. I think he's fairly rated. You know, the commentators do get behind him a little bit. But yeah, you know, he's got that air in him. He's got that bit of grub in him. So that also like downplays me on him. But yeah, man, he's tough as hell. He plays through injuries. He'll play any position. He's tough as nails. I think he's underrated to fairly rated. But that's all I've got for you.
I think it's that type of player, bro, before we jump off this. I think it's that type of player that if he played for your club, you would absolutely adore him. I think Raiders fans would absolutely adore him in moments. But if you play against him, obviously, you just think it's like, bro, complete grub. Like, you know, like all that. Type. Yeah, very similar. They're just in the contest all the time, but that's what people love. But a big question here that I've seen in the chat. Jazzy has a question for you both. Besides your beloved sides, who would be your second choice team? Who do you have a soft spot for beside the Broncos of the Ash? So obviously, Brody, throw this one up to you, bro. Who's your second sort of side? I know, like, you know, who's your soft spot side?
It would have to be the Dragons for me. You know, my dad's a diehard Dragon supporter. Has been all my life. Has been probably majority of his. You know, seeing the look on Dad's face when, you know, the Dragons took it out a few years ago, well, a bit more than a few years ago now, how time flies, was absolutely outstanding for me. So, you know, I couldn't be happy for him. And, you know, now he's got some struggled years in the last couple of years. But yeah, probably the Dragons I've got to have a bit of a soft spot for, just for him. The history of the Dragons as well. You know, it's kind of hard to go past a team like, you know, the Dragons or the Bunnies for me, but it has to be the Dragons just for the old boys. So how about yourself there, brother?
Yeah, as you said, with the Broncos, like, I do have a soft spot for the Broncos. Like, when I was a little boy, obviously my dad's a massive Broncos fan, and like, you know, I have cousins and stuff that are Broncos fans, and I loved Darren Lockyer when I was little. I thought he was honestly the greatest thing on the football field. But if I was going to say other than the Broncos, I've used to watch a ton of the Doggies back when I was a little boy. So, like, we've spoken about it multiple times.
I can see it. You get a stiffy when you see me in a Doggies jersey.
Oh, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones. Nah, like, honestly, bro, like, I have a soft spot to the Dolphins, GT, a little bit, like, because obviously we're close to Reckless. So, you know, it's good to see the Dolphins go okay. But with the Dogs, like, you know, I think some of the fondest years of my memories of football is those early 2000s, probably, you know, like 2010s era as well. But the 2004 Dogs is something I always brought up with you because I used to love Matt Utai. Like when I was a little boy, Matt Utai was amazing. Rennie Matua, all those boys. Even like later on in the career when you had Ben Roberts, I used to love Ben Roberts. Freak, bro. Freak.
Unreal. So, he was so underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like, you know, they're my other little soft spot, but yeah, it'd be the Warriors number one, no matter what, and then the Broncos and the Doggies. That's really where I sit with that.
Yeah, well, I seen, you know, we've got our 3-game Dolphin membership. I seen them email me today about grand final tickets going on sale for stadium members. So you know, the stars are aligning, brother. 2004, 2004. You know, you've heard it all about the Doggies. Are we going? You know, I seen another one today. The last time Australia won first and second in an Olympic swimming race was the last time that won the grand final.
I do want to bring that up.
I wish. I do wish. But I
saw another one too. I saw another one too saying the Roosters as well. There's something aligning with the Roosters. And obviously your win over in the grand final was over the Roosters. So is that a run back of the 2004?
Fuck, bring it on, Doggies Roosters grand final. We've already bagged them this year. Let's go again.
Fuck the Roosters. All right, lastly, guys, we've got a new little segment I want to bring to Brody here. It's going to be something real fun that we'll probably go back and forth a little bit. You know, the more we do these shows and stuff, we'll do a couple for me, a couple for him. But we're going to do a little guess who, brother. So we're going to run through, obviously, their careers from start to where they're at now, or maybe even finished. I'm going to go on easy, medium, and hard. The medium may be a little bit too hard. I'm not too sure, but we'll see how we go. And it's just testing Brody a little bit with his memory because he's got some good memory of some older boys as well. But this one, I think the easy one's actually going to give you a little bit of trouble as well. So get excited for this.
Fuck, is it easy then or what?
Oh, but this is a player
It's
that
hard,
you absolutely
hard.
yeah. Well, I don't want to give it away, but this is a player that, like, you know, as soon as you figure out the name of this, I knew you were going to adore this player. So started off at the Roosters in 2019, brother. Then went from the Roosters to the Warriors 2020 to 2023, and now is at the Doggies from 24 onwards.
It was Josh Curran.
It is. Joshy Curran with the first one. There you go, an easy one.
You got me a little, not really easy, because I wasn't sure that he played for the Roosters.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure of it. So, yeah. Oh, look, the Roosters actually grew a homegrown body.
No, it actually wasn't a Roosters junior.
Oh, there you go.
He came through the Parramatta system.
Of course he wasn't a Roosters junior. Let's be real.
Bro, if I went all the way back, yeah, he would have got it. But yeah, he came through the Parramatta system for the Harold Matts SG Ball, then had an indiscretion with that Parramatta system, ended up going to the Roosters, and then, yeah, came to us. And obviously, I knew you'd love that player. As soon as we, you know, obviously I told you, I was like, yeah, he's going to kill it for you guys.
Effort
and
upon effort.
he has. He's a freak, bro. He's a freak. All right, here we go. That was their first big one. This one's a good one because I think you might be able to get this too. Started at South Sydney 2014. Then went to the Penrith Panthers 2015. Then went to Manly Seagulls 2016 to 2019. Went back to the Panthers 2020 to 2022. And is now at the West Tigers from 23 onwards. There's a lot of clubs here. There's a lot of clubs.
Who was it again? What started at the Rabbits?
Started at the Rabbits. He actually won a premiership with the Rabbits.
Yeah,
it was in that premiership team. It's Avi Carousel? Yeah, it is. It's Avi Carousel.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I know he won that grand final because, well, he was against the fucking Doggies. I was like, we've got suspended 1 week out. Yeah, we've got this in the bag. Oh, no, GI just no. Fucking destroy us. But anyway, way to fucking ruin my night, Ash.
Yeah, bring up the 2014 final.
It's my old friend.
It was the Roosters. Brendan Smith is out, but Jake Turpin comes in. He's with you guys now, isn't he? Oh God. I thought I'd throw you off there with the Penrith Panthers and leaving Penrith, then coming back to Penrith. But yeah, you got obviously with the Rabbits was a big one. They ended up getting you too. So
yeah, this
one, bro, is an older player. This is why I'm going with the hard one. And this guy's been through a couple of clubs. He's retired. Yeah, he's retired. All right. So I'll give you a position to start off with to give you a little ease you into this one. He's a hooker from New South Wales. Okay. He started at the Canberra Raiders from 1997 to 98. Then went to the Brisbane Broncos from the 1999 to 2001. Then went to the Penrith Panthers, where it's probably his best careers at 2002 to 2008. And then ended his career at the Dragons from 2009, 2010. So he's a hooker. And I think the key club for you to figure this out is the Penrith Panthers. 2000s.
Oh. Fuck. I'm trying to think who played hooker for them back then. And I think I've got the dude, but I don't remember the name.
Okay.
When he started with Canberra, I automatically thought Simon Warford. But as soon as that comment just came through, that's exactly what I'm thinking. All I thought was head tape.
It's not Craig Gower. It's not Craig Gower. It's not Craig Gower, but you almost had his name there, though. Honestly, you started with the good first name. You just got to figure out that last name.
Luke.
It's right there, bro. It's right on your tongue.
No, I was thinking Gower straight away because I was like, that motherfucker.
Craig Gower. So he was at the Broncos for a little period. I know that a lot of people probably don't remember that because it was like late 2000, like early 2000s and stuff, late 90s.
Fuck.
Won a premiership there from memory, and then obviously won his premiership again through the Penrith Panthers. He played for the Blues in 3 games, so that doesn't really help you there at all.
No.
Wasn't a big Blues standout, but definitely had the ability.
Fuck.
Luke
I don't think I'm going to get this one, brother. I don't think I'm going to get this one.
All right, you want me to throw it out to you?
Yeah.
Luke Priddis.
Luke Priddis. Never would have guessed that, bro. Never would have guessed that.
I knew that the Broncos, the Raiders were the ones that would throw a lot of people off. And I knew that if I'd said the Penrith Panthers is where it's at, like a lot of people probably would have tried to figure out a way there. But Luke
the only thing I remember about Luke Priddis is the old fucking chip Tarzos and the Smith chips. And he had a Penrith jersey on. That's the only thing I remember about him. I couldn't tell you what his face looks like, but I just remember getting the fucking Luke Priddis over and over and over again in those fucking chip Tarzos.
Bro, they need to bring those things back because I felt like that was the golden era of football. Honestly, bro,
100%.
when the cards
100%.
and the Tarzos, bro, that was where it's at. But yeah, Lukey Priddis, my bro. I remember so my dad had, he collected all the cards of the Broncos. There was like an early 2000s Broncos side. I had like obviously Wendell, Lodi Takiri, all that. Like Scott Prince was early in those days. And I saw Luke Priddis in there. And obviously like when I started watching football, it was around that like early 2000s, probably more so 2003, 4 and that from my memory. And I was like, Luke Priddis was at the Broncos? Couldn't believe that. But yeah, he was a Broncos hooker for a little period there and the Raiders before that. So fairly interesting.
You Google his name. Most of his Google images look like he's having a stroke.
You don't need to go at this man. You don't need to... What an absolute freak. That was a good one, though. That was a good one. That was a good one. Hopefully,
all right.
We'll get some more, brother. We'll get you to research some ones for me as well. I reckon that'll be a really fun segment for the future, my bro.
Yeah, 100%. I like that.
My man.
That was a good segment. All right, guys. We'll touch on that next week. I like that a lot.
100%, 100%. Definitely something we can clip up too. I think that's going to be cool for the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So moving on, guys. Obviously, we're jumping into our Punters Paradise, some of our favorite segment for the week. Before we jump into this, guys, obviously we give our tips. Also, we give away our bets for the weekend. So if you are going to be gambling with some of the punts we're giving you today, obviously gamble responsibly. Don't go crazy. Call the lines from obviously the Australian line, New Zealand line. I'm not going to name every line out there, no matter what international, wherever you're from. But make sure you gamble responsibly, guys, because yeah, we obviously want to have fun out here, but we don't want to go too crazy to where you lose everything. Now, Brody, do you have your tips from the last week? How you went from last week? I think I've got mine here.
I don't remember what I said on the live stream, but
okay.
Normally I send me mumsy, my family group chat texts, and normally it's the same as what I say on the live stream. But it looks like I didn't send them, so maybe I just got 0 this week in my family tipping. Fuck.
Oh, you can't do that with your family, bro. They'd be tipping every week.
Nah, fuck. I took the Waz. I know that.
Yep.
I took Melbourne. I didn't take the Doggies. I thought we were going to lose it.
We're both on the same track there. I took the Cowboys.
Yeah, you took the Cowboys. We both took Roosters. We both took Panthers. I think you took the Panthers.
Yep.
I took the Dolphins.
Yep. And I took.
I think you might have said the Titans.
I wrote down I took the Dolphins.
Maybe you just talked about betting on the Titans being a close one.
I think I might have. Yeah.
And then I took the Rabbits and you took the Raiders. So I had a fucking shocker of a week.
Yep. So 6 of 8 from me, and I think 5 of 8 from you. I think that was a fun difference.
4, maybe 4,
something like that.
But look, let's not worry about it.
We got a new week. It's the future. It's the future now. Anyway, before we jump into it, I see this question here from Jazzy. I love your questions that you're bringing up, my brother. What's your thoughts on Braith Anasta as a player back in his day? I've got a couple of different views of Braith Anasta, but first of all, I'll go with the Doggies fan because, you know, he was a big part of the Doggies early on in his career.
You know, look, Doggies grand final winner. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
No, look, Braith was solid. I still love the work that he does around the club.
Yep.
You know, him, Mace, a few of those other boys from that 204 grand final still work out together in the area. I've seen a fair bit of that. You know, I like Braith. I respect Braith, and I like what he does for the younger players now that he tries to manage. Yeah, he proved himself not only at the Doggies but at a couple other clubs as well. So I think Braith is up there. He's definitely not your top 10, 5'8" of all time or anything like that, but you know, he played a bit of lock forward as well towards the back end of his career. I thought Braith was really solid. One of the good memories was that field goal he kicked for the Tigers against the Roosters, or was it vice versa? I can't remember.
I think it might have been Roosters, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, he was solid.
Yeah, as I said, I got a couple of different thoughts. I thought him at the Dogs was really, really solid. I thought he was really, like, that whole side was incredible. I have, like, mad fond memories of that side. When he was at the Roosters, I did think that he teetered on the edge of, like, overrated in that. Obviously, he came from the Dogs being a premiership winner. From memory, I think he won a premiership at the Roosters there too, from memory.
I think he might have, yeah, during that
So
stint.
he's a two-time premiership winner, so you got to give him his respect. But yeah, agreed. I like what he's doing for the game at the moment too, with, like, you know, obviously managing a lot of boys with their contracts and stuff. And you know, obviously, you know, you said he's supporting with the Doggies the way he has. Yeah, I full credit to him, full respect to him. I thought, as I said, early on in his career, I thought he was fairly rated, and then in the Roosters, I thought he's actually pretty overrated a little bit. But yeah, good little player.
Didn't get a premiership with the Roosters.
He didn't.
No, he
lost one at
rookie.
least.
He got rookie of the year. He got 5'8" of the year in 2005. And then he got captain of the year in 2010.
Why do I have a memory of him either winning or losing a premiership with the Roosters jersey from memory? He probably lost the premiership there, 2006. What am I trying to say? Just trying to think.
Trying to find where the stat is, but they only noted the Bulldogs one for him, so.
Yep. Yeah, he had that team 2010 where he was with where they had Mitchell Pearce and Todd Carney. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I just have a memory of him or either crying or whatever at a grand final for some reason. So yeah, that's my memory. Maybe it could have been a preliminary final. I'm not sure, but in a Roosters jersey too. And obviously being with the Tigers, like, you probably don't touch too many grand finals with the Tigers.
Nah, let's be real.
All right, good question there, Jazzy, my bro. Keep shooting them through. Feel free while we run through our tips for the weekend. First game of the weekend, my brother, we got the Tigers versus the Cowboys. This is at Leichhardt. The Cowboys don't really have a great record at Leichhardt, so this could sway the way maybe of the Tigers being at 335 on the odds. A couple of decent outs. Obviously, Fanor Bole is out of this game. No start for Tyler that played last week. No Luke Laulili, unfortunately. So they bring back Malo from the wing. Young, I think he was a rugby union winger that came over as well. He's not too bad. Other than that, probably stock standard side from last week as well. David Clemmer comes back into this lineup here. And then with the Cowboys, pretty much stock standard, top to bottom. Valentine Holmes keeps the center spot from last week that he had. Who do you sway towards in this game here, my brother?
Look, it's not that I want to tip the Cowboys in this one because I'm not all that confident, but I can't tip the Tigers on the form that they're in. So I've got to go the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will win, but I'll say 1-12.
Yep. All right. I'll run with you, bro. I can't. Yeah, I'm same thing with you, bro. I think, you know, it's going to be a close one because of that Leichhardt, and I think the Tigers turn up at Leichhardt. But I think the Cowboys probably just get it done here.
Yeah, I think over 40 points. Maybe.
Yeah, over 40 points.
Over 40, 1-12 Cowboys. But my bet for this one is Drinkwater anytime and Nanai anytime is paying $4.75. Drinkwater's overdue for a try. He's a bit dry. So, and Nanai, I reckon he'll just, you know, catch them out on that overs ball he loves to run. So those two together, it's $4.75. Take it or leave it on any leg fail.
From memory, Nanai will be running on that edge of Galvin and Porter. So fairly inexperienced side. I think Nanai can actually have a really good moment on that 100%. Side there too. So yeah, good bet there, my bro. Moving on, we got the Warriors versus Parramatta Eels, bro. This is at Auckland. So we get another home game. One of our, I think we've only had one other back-to-back game from New Zealand this year. So really excited to see the boys back at home again. Obviously the big notable in Sean Johnston. The other line there, Chance Nickel-Klokstad comes back into the lineup. Unfortunately, no Jackson Ford due to a knee injury that he sustained. And then with the Parramatta Eels, no too many changes at all, to be honest. So what's your thoughts on this game overall, bro? Do you think the Wires can go back-to-back here in New Zealand?
I feel for Tawari, Martin. I really do. I know you probably just got to put on the team that you think is best for the run home. But hopefully Johnston is 100% fit. I don't think he'd be coming back if they weren't. But I just hate for it to be another thing where, the Warriors get on track with a win. They bring in Johnston and then a loss again. You don't want that again. Because, he kind of disrupted the bit of the flow they had going last time around. But, I can't tip Parramatta. I think, 1-12, probably the Warriors will get it done.
Agreed, bro. Agreed. I'm with you on that. I'm hoping it'll sway to a 13+ game, but I still think that we're at the moment we're just working our way back into form. So I'm thinking 1-12 sort of range. I think I predicted in last night's show on All You Can Eat's probably I think it was a 24-16 game for me.
Chuck it on, guys. You got it right last week.
Yeah, I got it last week. I wish I did it too because it looked like it was going to be a better win until that last try. But,
did you put? You should have put that on Sportsbet exact scoreline.
Bro, I wonder what that would have paid to. I think it would have paid a Mozart because it ended up being a 1-12 game. So yeah, but I'm excited to see Shawnee. But I agree with you. Like it does suck to see Tomato Martin drop out of that side. I think the kicking game is probably the big difference between the two. And obviously, if Sean Johnson's healthy, I still think that Sean Johnson's the better halfback. But we've seen throughout this whole season, he hasn't been able to get healthy. And that's the only thing that worries me about this game is like, could this be him trying to work his way back too early? You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm excited to see Chancey back from injury as well. We know what he's going to get through. I still believe he's one of the most underrated fullbacks, especially in our club. Like a lot of people are calling for RTS to go back to fullback and keep him at fullback. I think people continue to forget what Chance brings to us. I really do.
I agree, man. I think Chancey's the best option for fullback, and I think you run Roger on that wing or in that center role, and he's going to produce just as much other than the kick return. But if you have him on the wing, then he's going to bring that kick return just the same as fullback. So I think Chancey in that team is the best option to go, especially at the back. But I really think you will probably bully Parramatta through the middle. That'll be your key to victory. That's probably all Parramatta really do offer as a solid pack. But, if you get the upper hand on them early, they kind of fade out of that game pretty quickly. So my multi for this one is a nice juicy one. So I went Barnett anytime. And you suggested Niokora anytime. So those two boys together is paying $20.75 for just two anytime try scorers. So chuck a tenner on that on Sportsbet. Any leg fails, you could get a possible 275.
I like that.
Or you could or you get your money back. So I think that's a juicy multi. Don't touch a winner, don't touch the scoreline. Just go those two boys to crash over, especially Shawnee back on that short ball, you reckon, for Niokora. And I reckon Barnett will just do his typical sweep to that left edge and have a run, and he'll run over the top of the likes of Shaw Lane, who's a big bit.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree. As I said to you before in the backstage, I really do think some of the problems for the Parramatta Eels, obviously, I feel like a lot of players are probably clocked off to the season anyway, but they don't tie in too well from the middle. I've seen a lot of tries for them. If people come off their outside foot back on the inside, there's holes everywhere. There was a big video going around everywhere of I think it was like Gutherson overcommitting and then that edge back row overcommitting caused a massive hole. I think Junior Paulo was a big one that just didn't cover that hole there, and it's just happened for a lot this season. So I can see Marata Niokora off an unders ball from Shawnee, so I love that play from you. And Mitch Barnett, bro, like I can't say any more great things about Mitch Barnett, bro. So I love that. Both of us Warriors 1-12, and guys, jump on that multi for the weekend.
I like that comment. Lecker gets his first try this week. I reckon he brings a lot of energy off the bench, and he'll probably crack the Eels right before halftime. So I reckon that's a good one. If Webby chucks him on in that first half for the last 10, I reckon 100% jump on Lecker anytime in the first half. Anytime. That will be paying a bit, but I reckon you got a good chance of getting them right before halftime with him bringing that energy he brings.
Yep. And as I said too, guys, on All You Can Eat, do also check out whether it's, I'm not too sure if it's on New South Wales Cup, like on the online app for the New South Wales TV. But Luke Metcalf is back in action this weekend. He's having one stint in Cup, and hopefully he gets back into running form. And then maybe we can see him back into first grade. So get excited for that. Next game of the weekend. We've got the Dolphins versus the Roosters here. This one is played at Perth, so not really a home game for either or. It's given as a Dolphins home game, but both of them obviously having to travel for this one. No massive changes here other than the Roosters getting back Joey Manu, who is a huge change for the Roosters, even though I just said no massive changes. So well done, Ash, there. Top to bottom for the Dolphins, not too many changes there either. Tevita Pangai Jr. keeps his starting front rower spot. Your thoughts on this game here, my brother? You think the Roosters will be too much for the Dolphins?
Oh, look, I had it as 1-12 because I thought that, the Dolphins would bounce back in good fashion. But now that you've just told me that it is in Perth, man, Perth's a dry, hard ground, and the Roosters will be full of running and full of points. We've seen it in Origin. With the likes of Teddy having field days on that Perth field. So now that I know that, and the fact that Joey Manu is back, I did see that right before. I'm changing my bet from 1-12 to I think the Roosters will get it done by probably not 13+, but I'm going to say -8. I'll give the Dolphins an 8 start. I think the Roosters will gobble that up pretty quickly. But I'm going to go with anytime try scorers of James Tedesco, the Hammer, and Angus Crichton at $11.
Oh, I like that, bro. I like that. I'm going to tip the Roosters there with you, my bro. I think the Roosters probably just be a little bit too strong. You look at these names on paper. You look at, obviously Joseph Manu back into the lineup. I think that centre battle of Joseph Manu versus Hermie Farnworth is going to be an absolute cracker. I can't wait to watch that. But yeah, I think the Roosters may be a little bit too strong for the Dolphins that have been a little bit of a slippy slide lately. In Perth, as you said, dry track. I think the Roosters might be able to get this done. Before we jump into the next game, Jazzy has another question for us, my bro. Do you boys think that experienced half should get a pass on playing in Cup returning from injury? Your thoughts there?
Yeah, I guess it just depends. When you got options like Tamari Martin, Chanel, and Johnston to already pick from, why not give Luke the run? It's not. Yeah. You're not desperate for him to be rushed back in. Even Cam Munster got a bench spot before running back into the Melbourne squad.
Exactly.
So why not try and just lighten that workload? You could do all the fitness you want outside of a game, but it doesn't match that game fitness. So the game fitness that Luke will get, and just the timing and the spacing, he'll really benefit from that run. I don't think it's more so a fact that you're experienced or not. I think it's just the fact that you don't need to rush him back when you've got still those other options. If Chanel was out or Tamari was out and you didn't have anyone, like you had Dylan Walker filling in at 6, then you probably rush him straight back in. But when you've got that option to lighten that blow a little bit there, why not? Why not?
I totally agree with you, bro. I think, honestly, this is just a fitness thing. He's had 4 months out. He's come off of a broken leg, and it's one of the bad, the bad breaks that you can have. I think it was a tibia fracture. So I think this is just a run to get confidence back under his legs again. And because the other thing for him coming back off that injury is confidence back in his game too, and confidence back in his leg. I think one run in Cup should get him back to a level where he's confident again, and then we can revise whether we go him over Chanel just yet. I do think that when he's fit and firing, I would have him over Chanel Harris-Tavita. I love Luke Metcalf, and I think we've been missing a little bit of speed and just that ability to break open a game that Luke Metcalf does possess. So that's just my thoughts there. I think that, I think we're just trying to ease him in slightly.
Yeah, I think he builds his game on fitness too. Sorry, brother, to interrupt, but he's a very fitness-based type of guy, Luke Metcalf. He covers a lot of ground. He does a lot of work off the ball, so you want him firing at fitness. So, but continue on.
Agreed, bro. Agreed. And to your other point here, Jazzy, how many times do you see SJ, DCE, Renault come back through Cup? I think the biggest difference between those ones are they are probably more of the experienced pieces that have been there and done that for years and years and years on end. If it was an early SJ, he came back through Cup in times. We've seen, that happen with early players, and Luke Metcalf's in his second proper year in first grade now. Yeah. He had moments there with the Sharkies. He played 1 or 2 games and that, but he hasn't had consistent football for a while. So I think it's the easiest way to ease him back in, honestly.
Plus those 3 guys you just named, Jazzy, are all captains of their club. So you don't. They're different to someone like Luke Metcalf. But as I said, Cam Munster even got a bench spot to come back in. So it's pretty normal in my opinion on what I would do as a coach as well if I had the option that the Warriors have in front of them right now.
Yeah, and I kind of prefer to see him in cup and just see how he looks and getting his confidence under him so he can come back into first grade with some running under his legs. Because, again, as I said, he's had 4 months out, like a proper 4 months, and it's with, like, limited running. Like, obviously, big rehab, broken leg. Like, he's probably needs some more running back under his legs. So, excited to see him come back soon, though, hopefully. All right. So next game of the weekend, brother, we got the Titans versus the Broncos. I'm pretty sure that was the next game of the weekend. I didn't skip anyone. No, that is right on. Yep, Titans versus the Broncos, brother. Obviously, no Selwyn Cobbo this weekend due to the indiscretions and all that that's going on with him at the moment. But with the Titans, it looks like that AJ Brimson has been named in the reserves. Maybe an opportunity to come back into the lineup, but he's been named in the reserves for the last couple of weeks. So we're still waiting to see what happens there. But pretty much top to bottom through both these sides here. Dean Mariner gets a centre role. Corey Oates comes in for Selwyn Cobbo. Your thoughts on both these sides here? Who will get the chockies at C-Bus in the Gold Coast?
Yeah, at the daytime as well. So, the Broncos always have that curse around them playing on a Saturday. They can't handle the daylight. It's like they're vampires or something. When it showed again on the weekend. But yeah, I think with all the media presence around the Broncos, I don't know if you guys get that in the rest of the world, but we cop it a lot here in Brisbane, and they're under the spotlight. They're on fucking radio station after radio station as I'm taking guys to the doctors at work. I just can't escape it when I'm got the radio on at the moment. It's just talking about how bad the Broncos were, and I think the doggies really did break their hearts and make them think of how shit of a season they actually are having. So, but with that said, I think that they'll get the job done because of that.
Yeah, and like not to be that guy. Like I feel like that should have been bestowed upon the Broncos probably a little bit earlier, because I felt like a lot of people just thought they were going to click back into gear and just everything is going to be okay. I even thought that like when Reece and all those boys, Renault comes back, they should kick back into gear. But like I feel like the football that they were playing, they probably should have got the spotlight that I felt like that we had. And I don't know if there was the Warriors fans earlier on, but I felt like as soon as everyone brought the Warriors and what the season we had, which has been a very disappointing season, like the excuse for the Broncos was no Adam Reynolds. Like the excuse for the Warriors, we had no Sean Johnston, no Luke Metcalf, no Chance, no, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like, the Broncos, got the easy run all the way up to a breaking point. And then, to get beat by a decent side like the Dogs, like, now it all comes out as like, this has been happening for a little while now that they should have picked up on probably since the Rabbitohs loss, to be honest, is probably where you first would have gone, you need to nip that into the butt. You know what I mean? So yeah, they deserve that for sure. But, you went the Broncos?
Yeah, I went the Broncos. I think it's more so the fact that, Reynolds was back last week and they had a decent win and they thought, here we go. You know what I mean? And then that just got kind of put out straight away. So
yeah. Sometimes it's just a little bit more than that. Like you got to get systems into place, and that's what win you football games, not just individuals. And I think the Broncos have got to figure that out sometime soon. Like they're 100%. Incredibly talented, but yeah, their game plan just doesn't really suit. I feel at the moment.
I agree, but yes, Broncos this weekend.
Yeah, while saying that, we're both on the Broncos this weekend, but I feel like it's going to be a close game, right? You feel like this?
Yeah, I don't think the Broncos blow them away, and I think they need that grindy win. As I mentioned before, a grindy win does so much more for your confidence than a 50-0 win. So, yeah.
And thinking off the top of my head, I don't think Jordan Ricky has scored in a little while, but he will be running at Jaden Campbell, even though Jaden Campbell's stepped up a lot defensively over the weekend.
And he's also
maybe a little bit of chippies there. So,
yeah, I don't know. He's got David Feeder on him, so I think maybe you look at the other edge with Pierre Cora potentially.
Yeah. Oh, who's running at Ezra Mam and Pierre Cotta? That would be Bo Fermor, right? From memory.
Oh, he's playing in the centers these days, so I don't know who's in their back row.
Their centers have been named Brian Kelly and Philip Sami now. So
okay, so
he should be back in that back row.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, Kieran Foran to show and go.
Ooh, I like that because Ezra's reads are just well off at the moment, so could be interesting money there. All right, my man. Next game, we got the Storm versus the Dragons at Amy Park. Not too much to touch on with both these teams. Obviously, we saw the return of Jack Bird last week. Really unfortunate that he had to come up against the Panthers. I think it was last week or the week before he came back. But
I think it was the week before,
really unfortunate. Yeah, and then obviously with the Melbourne Storm, Cam Munster is in the starting role now. He's the starting 6. Fa'alongo has dropped out of the bench role here. bring in Nelson Asafa Solomona, brother. Do you think the Melbourne Storm get it done well against the Dragons at home, or do you think the Dragons have an opportunity?
Nah, no opportunity, in my opinion.
Yo.
Look, they got big outside backs, but, you know, I thought they would have used that a bit better against Penrith, and they struggled to. So I don't think that they'll do it any better against Melbourne. I reckon it'll be a pretty high-scoring game, in all honesty. Melbourne haven't really been the best at defense this year compared to previous years. So I dare say the Dragons will still snag a few tries. I'm going to go maybe 36-18.
Yep.
Melbourne.
I end up playing on the line in this game, guys. So I end up going the Dragons plus 18.5. I just sort of line at 18.5. I was like, give it an opportunity, $1.90 on that. It's not too bad. Then it goes Zach Lomax. I think Zach Lomax is at $2.10 or something like that. So I thought that wasn't too bad for probably their best scoring option for the Dragons. And then on the Storm side of things, Jerome Hughes hasn't scored in his last 3 or 4 games from memory. So I went on Jerome Hughes for a nice dummy and go on running down. That'll be Fleno's edge from memory, I think. I think Fleno's on that side. So I think that's going to be a good little opportunity. That should get you $12 odds on a boost. So it's actually $10.75 odds there. I'll chuck 5 on it. So not too bad, brother. Not too bad.
I like it.
We're both on the Melbourne Storm in this game, right?
100%. Without a doubt.
100%. Next game on your Saturday, the last game of your Saturday, we got the Sharkies versus the Rabbitohs. This at PointsBet Stadium. Ronaldo Mulitalo is out with the knee injury from memory last time I heard there. He came off of the moon boot last game. And Thomas Hazelton's out, which is a real unfortunate one. Need that to fix up my super coach there. I'm pretty sure I don't have... I think I traded him out maybe this week, or who knows. So, and with the Rabbits, Fletcher Myers is the new debutant here for the Rabbitohs due to Alex Johnston, obviously at season ender. Your thoughts on this game? Do you feel 50-50 here, or you go Sharkies?
Where was it at? Shark Park.
Shark Park.
I'm going to give the Sharks the edge. I'm going to go 1-12 for the Sharkies and over 56 points. Very high scoring.
I like that. I feel that exact same thing. Do you think the Rabbits have an opportunity? $3.73 if you want to go head-to-head for a little like outsider bet.
I think the Rabbits struggle when it comes to meters out of their ends in this game, and I think they'll struggle when the bench subs come on in this game. That's where I think they'll lack.
Yeah, I think a big in for the Sharkies too. Will Kennedy should be a good in for them as well. Should steady the ship a little bit. They had a rookie last week that probably didn't help out a little bit. I thought he played well, but you know, having Will Kennedy a little bit more experience out back probably helps a lot with their halves pairing of Trindle and Atkinson. So yeah, I'm going to go to Sharkies, bro, at home. Yep.
100%.
And then the first game of your Sunday, brother, we got the Panthers versus the Newcastle Knights. This is at Penrith. No Braden and Best in this game. So Dylan Lucas is in the center position there. And no Dane Laurie, no James Fisher-Harris that is out for a couple of months from memory, or a month from memory, which is really unfortunate with the groin injury. So we got a new kid in that fullback position, brother. Excited for this. This is a guy that I've been talking to you about a lot. Isaiah Iongi. Incredible talent from New South Wales Cup fullback. He's got a lot of talent for the Panthers, so excited to see him out back. And obviously Casey McLean, we saw a little bit of him last week and the week before. He's got a lot of ability as well. Your thoughts here? Do you think the Panthers get it done and get it done well?
No, I think Panthers maybe 1-12. I reckon Ponga is going to have a bit of a field day down that left edge, where we like to think that Penrith defense is pretty poor on Panthers' defensive right edge. So I think Ponga is going to give Nathan Cleary a bit of nightmares. As good as Nathan Cleary is, he does lack defensively. And then it doesn't help that his center also lacks defensively. So I think it'll be a bit closer than everyone thinks it might be on paper. It just depends on how bad Newcastle want it. And I think they will want it, because if they don't win this, they can pretty much already kiss their season away. But, you know, they need to get some sort of traction going if they want to get it going. And, no Braden Best down that left edge, though, is a big out. But I'll go Panthers 1-12 for a bit of value.
Yeah, I like that. I wonder actually what the line is. I'm just going to check that just quickly, because I think the line won't be too bad there either if you want another safer little play. 16.5 for the line. So that's not too bad if you want to play with the plus 16.5, $1.90. So you could go Panthers 1-12, which would be a decent amount as well. So I think Panthers will get it done. I think there's an opportunity they'll probably blow it out just a little bit late. But again, I can definitely see what you're seeing too with KP on that edge. And we all, you know, we've picked out, Isaac Tungo has struggled a lot this year defensively. So I think that could be definitely an opportunity for Greggy Marju to snag a couple on that edge. And shout out to Greggy Marju on Supercoach, 100%.
Yeah, hopefully.
Last game and probably your most important game of the weekend, my brother. We got the Doggies home at Belmore and they're bringing over the Raiders. Get excited for this one, my bro. No, obviously Stephen Crichton comes back in, massive in, and Josh Addo-Carr comes back into the lineup for the Raiders. It seems that Corey Horsburgh's named him reserves. I don't know if he'd be able to make it way back in, but it's good to see him back around the reserves. We haven't seen a lot of him this year.
We'll end up playing 12 if he plays, so it's all sweet. I heard he punches like a bitch.
He'll throw 1-2 and then he'll be off again.
The way that old mate ate those punches, bro, that's just embarrassing.
Shout out Jacob Laban.
Yeah, straight up. But yeah, look, I think we should get the job done, but Canberra's a bit of a bogey team for us. Their pack's going to be tough to handle, so shout out to Joseph Tapani to have a big game. You know, I'm a bit worried for that side of things, and then Tom Starling on the back of it. But you know, I got to ride with the Doggies this week. We should get it done, especially at Belmore. You know, Critter and Josh Addo-Carr, the energy those two bring, and the feeling they would bring towards the team. Yeah, we should get it done. You know, Belmore as well. Yeah, we should get it done. I'll say 1-12 though. I reckon it'll be a close one.
Yeah, I'm tipping you probably, get it done at Belmore 1-12 in this one. I'm excited, as I tried to touch on early on, is see Josh Addo-Carr on the outside. Like, I don't think that you need to keep someone like Josh Addo-Carr at the club for the money that he's on and all that sort of stuff. But I do believe that the best part of his game probably will help you guys a little bit in those opportunities that you do strip on that edge and you create the overlap, which Bronson Sherry and him were doing really well at a part this season. And he'll create those like moments of just like burning people. But you got Xavier Savage there, so the foot race should be really, really exciting to see down that edge as well. But yeah, I'm going Doggies 1-12, and from what I heard, this game sold out like like 3 or 4 weeks before, bro. Like, yeah. So really, really excited to see that game. But any last bets or whatever for the weekend, my brother?
Nah, that's all. Other than I reckon Carraz will get like 10 tries because Canberra can get fucked.
Carraz
and I'm taking Carraz. Up the super coach.
All right, Alex, one question. Ash, can you give a quick recap of your best tips this week? Appreciate the content, bro. Appreciate you, my brother. Brody, do you have any of your best tips for the weekend? Do you reckon that should get up?
Oh, fuck. Well, way to put me on the spot. Nothing should get up. It's not a guaranteed thing other than, obviously, Rugby Sevens women's New Zealand team. Fucking hell. Way to go for them. You could have laid your house on that and definitely got your return. They're a beast of a team, aren't they?
Shot the Aussie girls.
Yeah, well, hey, they tried hard, but, man, heartbreak for sure.
Heartbreak.
And the men, you know, they came fourth. But, yeah, still higher than NZ Rugby Sevens. Where do they come, like sixth, I think? I don't know. Just gonna have that little dig.
Up the Aussies.
Best tips for the week. Man, on the spot.
A lot of these all favorites, so you can't really go like a value bet this weekend. Like I think I've tipped pretty much majority all favorites from memory.
Nah, look, I reckon if you're looking for like just single bets, jump on Jacob Carraz to score anytime for the Doggies. With Critter back, he'll lay him up a try there for sure. Then I like my bet with the Warriors for really good value of Nikora and Barnett to score at $20. I think that was a good multi. And then if you're looking for value, pick a handful of try scorers in that Sharks Rabbits game because there'll be points flying left, right, and center. So yeah, you could probably pick 4 try scorers. Maybe go Jacob Gagai, Sione Katoa, Nikora in that game as well. And then maybe another rabbit one, maybe Keon, Kalol, Matangi, whatever that's paying, those 4. Yeah, other than that, man, nothing's a sure thing. Put it that way. What can you say? Yeah, the Rugby Sevens Jazzy for Fiji, man. They let me down, bro. They let me down in a couple of my multis on the Olympics. And the Fiji women didn't win a single game, So that's a shock. So
yeah, bro, it's a tough weekend to just be like, here's a definite tip or whatever for the weekend. It should be going. I don't see a lot of value. As I said, like majority, I'm pretty sure every one of my tips this week are all favorites. I wouldn't say the Broncos are $1.50. I wouldn't say they're a sure thing to get a win over the Titans. I think the Titans have been up and ready to go. Everything else is pretty short odds here. The Cowboys are $1.33. The Wars at $1.20. I don't like betting on my Warriors a lot. Because like I was just afraid that would jinx us, but I really do like Murata near quarter to go over, score a try. What was that, $4 odds on that one? So
yeah, he's 4.75 on the nose to score.
I like that, especially Sean Johnston back. I think that's going to be a really, really nice one. But I will not be putting it on because I don't want to jinx my side. That's just the way I run. But yeah, hopefully we'll think about that a little bit more, my brother, and we'll end up doing probably our best tips of the week or something like that at the end of our segments as well. And also Tahi, bro. Next year, bro, for sure we could probably look at a super coach sort of segment or whatever, bro. Would you be into that? Because I know you're into super coach. Obviously, we both love it.
Yeah, we'll definitely, like, me and Ash go pretty hundy on it. We could definitely chuck in some super coach tips next year, sorry. You know, it's probably a bit late to start this season. And then if you boys jam super coach, we'll make a comp up, and we'll chuck you know, cool. You boys that like to jump in this chat into it, and we'll have a bit of a playoff, create the banter even more in the chat. So Tai, Jazzy, if you guys jump on that super coach, by all means, you know, you got to raise your game, though. Me and Ash get those 1,500 score lines. So no Warrior players in sight. So
oh, brother. I'd love to do that for you guys. I think, yeah, we'll definitely look at doing that next year. I think, as Brody said, like it'd be tough to do it at the start of this year because I think a lot of good super coaches starts from the start. And you got to ease your way in. You got to plan the season out. To start now, all I'd say is, yeah, get all your best players as much as you can for the run home for the season. But my trades for this week though, like. You were touching on Joseph Tarpany. He was the guy that I actually brought in. I think I had a choice out of him or Payne Haas to run the season, but I brought in Tarpany. You brought him in too?
Yeah. I brought him in over Cotter because he's out with the HIA.
Great minds think alike, my brother. And I don't think... Oh, I brought in KP as well. So out of all the fullback options I could have had there, because I had I think Will Price was at my fullback position there, and I had like a couple $100K. I couldn't get Teddy. I couldn't get those boys, so... I went with the man KP, so hopefully he can run out to the season and play well.
Yeah, well, it's not a good game for him to play.
Not this week, no.
Hey, he could shock. I brought in Api Coruscant for Reece Robson because he's been lacking. But now with that said, I've got Munatalo and Tamari Martin that I'll potentially need to trade out, but I've got enough subs to cover for now.
And Jazzy with another question here. Ash, how much do the Warriors win by in round 25? So we do play the Bulldogs in round 25. We bring you back home. I honestly think it's going to be a close game again. I think that we can get the 1-12 win. But like with the Doggies getting the win over us to start the season and their form the way it is, I'm sure Brody will be confident probably in a 1-12 win against us as well. So I'm going 1-12 for me.
Plus.
13 plus. Oh, you did the Broncos. You're going.
Have you guys crying? Are you guys crying again to me? The ref this, the ref that, and my final series are gone. And see you guys next season.
Here it is. You better not break our hearts like that this season, Brody. I swear to God.
We will, brother. I think we will.
Lockie's already had it over me with 2 Titans win this year. We can't have you doing this to me.
Doggy wins,
no, you can't do this to me. Not with the Blues victory as well. Like this year has been shocking.
Brother. Come on, 2 Titan losses in one season. You guys don't deserve to play finals.
So we may as well end the video now. So oh, bro. All right, guys. Any more questions before you end the stream? I think it's been cool to have a little bit of questions at the end of it here. Alex obviously saying, bro, I hate betting on the Wars too. Makes me nervous. Appreciate you, fellas. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, we will start looking at maybe best tips of the weekend. I think we do a lot of that, but yeah, this week there wasn't a lot of really amazing tips for this week that probably would give you value or anything like that. No outsiders either.
A perfect week is like, you know, if you picked a perfect week on Sportsbet this week, well, for us, it would have been coming in about that $7, $8 mark, and that's not really worth it. It's like $1 a game. Not a lot of value there. You got to start to look at some try scorers potentially. you know, but I'm starting to try and taper off the multis and just try and get on the noses on sort of things.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of companies, what I'm starting to realize now, just promote the shit out of multis because you got less chance to win. So
yeah,
yes, you could win more, better odds, but yeah, I don't know, tough.
You got to take your pride too. You want to win too.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, just make sure you're doing it for fun. You're not going to get rich off punting, and if you are, you're probably betting way too much, and you're potentially going to lose more than you're going to win 90% of the time. So.
Jazzy's gone back to back here with you. The ref was your uncle, Brody, and then he backs it up with a question. Now that the doggies are doing well, does Brody's head fit through the door?
The doggies have been doing well all year. We've been in the 8 a whole year. Where have you guys been? What do you mean just now doing well?
Hey, I can only bring you back the past, and we were top 4 last year. We
1 year.
We should have been there.
We got the year before that.
Hey. We don't have a wooden spoon in our cabinet, mate. We don't have a wooden spoon.
We don't have a grand final trophy either.
Dang it, man. This always gets me, no matter what.
No matter what you say.
We'll end the stream there now, guys. I'm being serious now. I think we've had enough of it. Now, we work at a window and door company anyway, so no matter what, you know, Brody can make a bigger door to fit out of. All good, my brother. Appreciate you jumping on again. Bro, actually, before you go, how'd you go last week in your footy? Did you get the big win over that team?
Yeah, we got a dub. What was the final score? 24-16 dub. So,
lovely.
We have
finals
a bye
time?
now, and yeah, we have a bye before finals, and we finished second. So top 5. First get the week off. We can't make first now because we've got a bye. Unless first lose. Either if first live this week, we might jump into first. But with the week off already, I'd prefer to potentially finish second instead of having 2 weeks off in a row coming into finals. So, but yeah, exciting times now. So, enjoy the week off. Rest any niggles.
100%.
Bring in the trophy.
And then we got footy not this weekend, not next weekend, the weekend after, right? Or is it next weekend? The Dolphins game next weekend, right?
It's next weekend, bro. I think it's next weekend, Sunday.
Excited for that, guys. So, guys, we'll probably remind you on Wednesday, but if you come down to Suncorp Stadium, if you're coming to watch the Warriors versus the Dolphins, you see me and Brody, come say hello. We'll call for a chat and all that. And also, before we go, appreciate you guys. Brody, before we go, actually, I had one more question for you. You top point scorer for your comp this year in rugby league, or
nah,
a couple of games, right? So
yeah, I've been kind of FIFA on it, to be honest, to be week on, week off. And I wasn't goal kicking at the start of the season either. I've only just started to pick that sort of stuff up. And I've just started to find a couple of tries as well. So other than that, it was mainly just ball playing, dispensing. So definitely not this year.
Start climbing back the ladder, mate. Limited games, but you climb back up the ladder. It's all right.
Maybe top 10.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right, my brother. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Enjoy your weekend too. Please make sure you gamble responsibly with all our tips and all that. But yeah, responsibly, bro.
Get it out.
A long night. 2 hours and 7 minutes, and he's got me lacking with the doggies sort of chat going on here. So, appreciate you guys. We all love ya. Take it easy. Have a good weekend. Up the was.